ZipRecruiter.
The Adam Gold Show.
Look, it wasn't going to work out with Mikko Rantanen, obviously. Should they have known? Probably, but they didn't. So you make the best out of the situation. You get a guy in Logan Stankoven who fits the way you guys play. Now move forward. You also get some draft capital to add pieces down the road. It was never about this year anyway. It was always about the future. This team can still win it now.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before.
Oh, yeah! Big money!
Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply.
Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Watch collectors, watch aficionados, and those just trying to get into the watch hobby need to listen up. Bailey's Fine Jewelry has everything you could be looking for when it comes to making a statement on your wrist. Whether it's the classic elegance of a brand like Blancpain, the historic nature of Glashütte Original, rugged durability of a G-Shock, or the American-made brilliance of Hamilton as seen in so many blockbuster movies. And of course, the iconic looks of the pre-owned and vintage Rolexes that can only be found at the largest pre-owned and vintage Rolex selection in the state of North Carolina at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in their Village District location. And of course, don't forget their innovative and historic watches that can be found in the Omega Boutique, which is the largest of its kind in the entire country. It's all happening at Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location in Raleigh because, as they say, your watch, it's not only about telling time, it's about telling everyone your time is valuable. Make sure they know you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan.
Every sandwich has bread, every burger has a bun, but these warm, golden, smooth steam buns, these are special, reserved for the very best. The Filet-O-Fish, and you can have them too.
Mix and match faves like a Filet-O-Fish, McCrispy, Spicy McCrispy, or 10-piece McNuggets. Now get any two for only $6. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
March basketball is unpredictable. Your elevators shouldn't be. Metro Elevator keeps your building moving. Our highly trained technicians deliver fast, responsive service for peak performance. Visit metro-elevator.com/Raleigh to keep your elevators in championship form.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Shot clock down to 10. Cadeau still in the center jump circle. Boyd puts a hand on his hip. Here we go with 6 on the clock. Cadeau, crossover to the right elbow. Drives, spins, out to R.J. Davis. Mile-long three. Count it, baby! Put up the three goggles, R.J. Carolina ending the half as it did for most of the half, pouring in another field goal. Davis up to 11 in the first half, and Carolina's lead is 24 going to the locker room.
It's the Adam Gold Show. Hi, everyone. I am Adam Gold.
And you're back.
I am back. In fact, it is true. Look, if you're on YouTube, you can see me.
Yep.
YouTube.com/Adam Gold Show or /999 The Fan. Same way, same place. Now all we need is for you to subscribe, like, share, rate, review, all of those things that we ask you to do because it makes us look better than we actually are.
Oh, no.
So I do a poor job of that, and I do even a poor job of even remembering to do it. That's actually the worst job. And I do the same thing on the podcast. I don't demand.
Right. Well,
look, if you either like it or you don't.
Right.
And you know about it, and if you like it, you tell a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tell a friend.
Yeah.
And then so on and so on. I think that's a hair commercial. That's a shampoo commercial, wasn't it?
Could be.
Back in the day?
Or maybe a phone.
You tell two friends, and then they tell two friends, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty soon, there's 20 people listening.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
So it could be. In some ways, it is. That's Victoria. Thank you very much for making us part of your day. All right, before we get into anything, because I know that I wasn't here, and I heard about it from people. Very quick shouts to the North Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles. If you need to get your child a driver's permit, start making plans when they're about 2.
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea.
Woof.
So it hasn't changed over the years.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 days of my life have been spent at the Department of Motor Vehicles. And there are people out there right now in their cars going, yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about permits, it's about everything.
It's anything and everything. 8 windows, 2 people working.
Bless. No, seriously, this is not about the people.
No. Yes.
Bless them.
It's just like retail stores having all these registers and 2 people working. It's not their fault.
Bless those people. Because it is super frustrating for people like us who go there, and I'm not going to get into any details. We have been there since butt crack of dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And we're tired, and we're frustrated, and we're angry that things aren't working out. And those poor people have to deal with us.
Right.
So, if you are a worker at the Department of Motor Vehicles, man.
Bless people who have to deal with the
I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you.
Yeah.
And I apologize. All right, let's go. Again, sorry I wasn't here Monday or Tuesday. Apparently there was some controversy.
Right.
And based on text messages that I received, apparently I was needed to sort through them. We're going to get to them.
Well, and also, because you brought up the YouTube stream, I've already asked for people who wanted a question asked or answered for one-timers. Go ahead and put it in there now. We'll have it ready for 12:45. Yes.
Or whenever we get to it. So, yes, one-timers right there. Put some stuff in the chat.
Right.
Victoria's good about that. I don't spend any time there, but I have other things to do. So we will sort out through some perceived lack of respect. All right. 2 things can be true at the same time. The University of North Carolina men's basketball team can be more than good enough, which was proven last night. And they did not deserve to be in this field. 2 things that are absolutely true. And how long have we been talking about this? I have said, I don't know, 50 times more probably over the last month. I know they're good enough. I just can't prove it. There is no data that says this is a good basketball team in terms of, did you beat anybody? We have gone down a rabbit hole of these predictive metrics telling us what's good and what's not. And the ultimate arbiter of are you good is did you win? That's what the ultimate arbiter is. We don't need, this is not boxing. right? There are no judges at the side of the court going, you know what? 10. No, that's not how we do this. We keep score. Most points win. All right. I'm going to set aside whatever controversy, and we're going to get to it at some point. I'm just going to set that aside for now. Because I want to talk about last night, which was a cathartic, for some, in-your-face, old-fashioned molly-whopping.
Whooping.
That was impressive.
Oh, yeah. It was over like halfway through.
So, halfway through.
Maybe not even halfway through.
Halfway through. I was over. It was like 7 minutes left in the first half. And we all knew what the outcome was going to be. Bless Seth Davis's heart at halftime on True TV. We're a long way from over.
No, we're not.
Spoken like somebody who had San Diego State plus 4.
All right.
No, we were not a long way from over. All you had to do was watch. San Diego State isn't very good. But before we continue, Field of 68, our friend Jeff Goodman and Rob Doster, who was on with us last week, they founded this. It's a college basketball-centric. They do videos. They don't even write. I'm not even sure they have a website. Yeah. They just pump out video after video after video. So in this clip, it starts with Randolph Childress, legend of Wake Forest, does games for ESPN and the ACC network, and Goodman will come in second. Tyler Hansbrough was on the video, but he's not featured here. John Fanta is one of their, experts or whatever. He's also on the video, but was not featured here in the audio we're going to play for you. And it starts off with Childress telling you the absolute truth.
Talk your talk, Tyler. Don't let them off that easy, Tyler. But everybody. No. But let me say this: everybody's right. You wasn't supposed to get in. Not over Indiana or West Virginia. That's just facts. But now that you're in, go ACC. Don't talk that trash to me. I don't want to hear that. Y'all knew this was going to happen when the ACC got in, Fanta. I want to hear your gibberish when you get on here because you talked all that trash. Now, again, I will say they wasn't supposed to be in over a couple of teams. But they're in. So I don't care. This is what happens when you let us in. You let the league in, no matter what the numbers are, and this is the kind of stuff that happens to you, man. I hate to say it, but I told you so. This is what the league does. ACC still shows up when it matters most, man.
You beat San Diego State. Wait. You're
hey, Jeff, we ain't beating them. This is old fashioned. This is belt the ass, Jeff. This is belt the ass. This ain't no. Hey, this right here. Stop the game right
belt
now.
To ass.
10 minutes to go.
Right.
10 minutes
there were
to go.
10 minutes to go, and they're doing this.
Right now. I don't want to.
That's how over the game was. They were so confident. We don't need the rest of it. But that's true.
Yeah.
Everything that Randolph Childress said was true.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. There's no doubt that North Carolina is and was good enough. I've been saying exactly that for a month. They are good enough. The only debate was whether or not they deserve to get in, and we'll get to that later. To the game, real quick. I thought it didn't end here, but I thought the tone was set when Elliot Cadeau hit the first three of the game for UNC.
Oh, they were dunking threes like crazy.
Cadeau, defense backed off, which, hey, I would do that to Cadeau too. Maybe not right away. Bang! Knocked it down, and it looked great. They made their first 5, their first 6 threes.
It's nuts.
Cadeau hit the first one. Powell, Withers, RJ Davis.
On
monster
fire.
game.
Oh
monster game
gosh.
from Davis.
Yeah.
They defended the heck out of San Diego State. And by the way, Brian Geisinger is going to join us in just a couple of minutes. I looked at the metrics. San Diego State is not only the worst offensive team among all of the at-large selections. Worst. There were 37 at-large teams in the field. They were the worst at-large team, okay? But forget that. Of the 68 teams that received invitations to the NCAA tournament, they were the 58th best offensive team. There's a lot of small division, small conference schools that are way better offensively than San Diego State. Way better. So, North Carolina defended great, but my gosh, San Diego State.
Oh man, it's bad.
They very, very bad, very, very bad. But credit to North Carolina for making them look worse.
Yeah, they didn't let up.
Way worse.
Yep.
Davis was scorching 6-6 from deep. Carolina was 14-24 overall. Elliot Cadeau, 9 points, 12 assists, 3 steals. Jalen Withers went for a double-double, 10 points and 10 rebounds. That was awesome. I am going to get, not right now, I am going to get to the reality that they shouldn't have received a bid. Everybody's going to get over it. I will just say this, and then we're going to bring in Brian Geisinger. For all the North Carolina fans who are throwing different metrics at me, all of those metrics say something. They say that North Carolina is good. Every single one of them says that North Carolina, good enough. Every single one of them. A lot of them say that they were better than all of the other teams in the same general part of the bubble. But what they don't tell you is that North Carolina won almost no games against the good teams while those other teams did. And I'm not, what I'm saying is that those metrics, to me, are tiebreakers. If everything looks the same, well, what do the metrics say? What do the win above WAB? What does WAB say? What do all these? What do they say? Because these are predictive measures, right? And if everything is equal and all of those metrics say, well, that North Carolina is better, then by all means put them in the field. The problem is when it came to the winning against the good teams, one of these teams clearly didn't belong. All right, more on that later because we don't want to beat you over the head with it. I hate to bring reality again. I'm rooting for the Tar Heels. I won last night. I told you we're going to bet them. Could they be in the Elite Eight?
Ooh.
Could they? All right. I know who to ask about what happened last night. We'll bring Duke into the mix as well. It is our buddy Brian Geisinger. All right, what happened last night? Nobody better to analyze that. Look ahead as well. Our friend, the basketball brain himself, Brian Geisinger. Split the action on Substack. We should do that, all of us. All right, let's get right to it, sir. North Carolina opened up a can on San Diego State last night, and it was almost from the very beginning after they stopped turning it over the first, 4, 5, 6 possessions. Mm-hmm. And then the 3-ball just went crazy. I don't know, what did they make their first 4 or 5? They were, 7 out of 9 in the first half. Is it that simple? They just shot the ball so well?
Not quite, but I do think it speaks to something that I've talked about with UNC throughout the year. One of the reasons why I felt like you could never write them off was that they just have there's like elite shot makers and guards on the roster. I mean, right. RJ Davis is an all-time ACC shooter, especially for at the guard position, and a veteran too. And Ian Jackson's an NBA prospect. He hit a couple of threes last night too. He didn't play a ton of minutes, but hit several threes. And I mean, he's been, I would say, like a little up and down for them this season. But his ability to shoot off the catch and the step back three, pretty special. And then the biggest sort of like development for them, the back third of the season, has been Jalen Withers really coming online as a stretch piece in the front court to have really help complement all the guards that this team has. And all of a sudden, like once you have that the taller forward that can step out and hit shots like that, well, then it also opens things up for the pick and roll with Van Allen Lubin. And like that's the thing that he does best as an offensive player, right? Like he's not a low post target in the way that someone like Armando Bacot was, but he's athletic and he can rim run and get downhill, and then that also helps complement. That also helps open up things in the pick and roll for either Cadeau, or it helps open up stuff on the weak side for guys like Davis and Jackson too. So I think having that stretch shooting component with Withers has really like added a breath of fresh air to the offense. But yeah, ultimately, like this is what you can do even against elite defenses. Like good offense will beat good defense if you have shot makers like that. And so I'm not totally surprised with what happened. And I've sort of been all season long, I've kind of thought that this UNC team was probably better than maybe the record or resume would have indicated because they have some high end offensive talent and I think a pretty good offensive coach too in Hubert Davis.
Brian Geisinger is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. Tar Heels won by $1 billion last night. They had a lead of, I believe, 40 at one point. I've said the same thing over the last several weeks, and there are two topics of discussion here, one of which you and I are not going to get into, whether or not they deserved a spot in the field. But I have been saying for weeks that if they get in, they're going to win games. I promised I would bet them to get to the Sweet 16, and I believe they will get to the Sweet 16. Defensively, they were really good last night, and I think that triggered everything. It got their offense going and all of that. Now, San Diego State is the worst was the worst offensive at-large team. They were one of the worst offensive teams in the entire field, regardless, automatic or at-large bid. I think they ranked 58th in offense out of the 68 teams. But their defense did look good. How does that translate to Ole Miss on Friday, and then potentially, I'm thinking, Iowa State coming up on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, look, I know San Diego State not a good offensive team, but UNC did a number on Miles Byrd last night.
Yeah.
Miles Bird's an NBA player, so I mean I know it's not maybe a collective, not an elite offense, but I would absolutely say like a really good offensive piece that had probably one of his worst games of the season last night against UNC. Ole Miss, it's interesting. This is a super old team. I mean, it's like sort of in the way that a lot of the SEC is. Like this is a veteran ball club, strong on both sides of the court. You'll recognize like plenty former ACC players in the lineup: Trey Davis, Jamin Brakefield, Sean Padula, who was the point guard at Virginia Tech the last few seasons. Matthew Morrell didn't train. He's just been around there for 5 years. But it's like a lot of veteran players and a team that really emphasizes taking care of the ball and just kind of beating you with a collective offensively too. So I think it's a team that if UNC can take away the middle of the floor, take away the paint, I mean, this is an offense that I do think UNC can like hold in check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, one of the reasons why Withers coming online like helps them out on both sides of the court is allows them to get multiple shooters offensively while keeping some size on the floor. And just like if you've been seeing Drake Powell down the stretch of the season, like he's turned into a really good physical, not just like an agitator, but with because he's got great size and athletic tools too. So I really quite like the matchup against Ole Miss, which is a team that I think has felt like a little wobbly throughout the season. Iowa State's really good, and I mean you don't have to I guess go too far back. I guess they didn't play against UNC out in Maui, but Iowa State, really good offensive team. I do like Joshua Jefferson, their forward, quite a bit. Deshaun Jackson, the guy who transferred in, the big guy who transferred in from Charlotte, gives him some size and some rim running game. But neither of these are offenses that are just on like something like Duke's caliber, right, or Auburn's caliber, So it's like they're very good. These are top 20 offenses in the country, so they'll be a challenge. And I do like Iowa State from like an X and O perspective, but certainly like defense is the thing that drives it for them. So two fascinating matchups. I mean, I'm sure Iowa State will be favored if that is in fact the matchup, but my guess would be that Ole Miss and UNC is projected to be a pretty close game, would be my estimation for later this week.
Look, I think the Tar Heels have beaten Ole Miss and Iowa State without, Keyshawn Gilbert. So they have some injury issues. I like the Tar Heels to advance there. Then you get the annuity game against Michigan State. Don't they always beat Michigan State? Like if North Carolina was in the Elite Eight, I'm just not going to be surprised. And I said
they didn't beat them. Well, they didn't beat them earlier this year.
Yeah, but they needed double overtime, right? Was it?
Yeah.
We needed extra time.
Yeah, I don't think Jace Richardson played in that game for Michigan State. Your point is taken, though. But yes, there's lots of history between the two, and UNC has had a lot of success. So,
all right, let me go on to Duke before we have to say goodbye to Brian Geisinger. Split the action on Substack at bgeis_bird on Twitter. All right, so the Blue Devils managed without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown to win the ACC tournament. How much of their offense, and we're going to get Cooper Flagg back, whether he plays Friday against whoever they play or he plays Sunday against whoever they play, he's going to come back. But how different was their offense really? Did they just slide Con Knippel into a number 2 jersey and basically do just about everything they do with Cooper with Knippel?
Well, it's interesting. I was doing a little research on looking into these numbers a little bit earlier today. And look, in the 105 minutes that Cooper was not on the court in Charlotte, so that includes the Georgia Tech game too.
Right.
Duke's offense scored 122 points per 100 possessions, which is an elite. It's an elite number. And look, they did that. They didn't shoot like a crazy number on threes. They only shot 50% from deep. I mean, they took a ton of them, but I think 45, 46% of their shots in Charlotte were threes without Cooper, and that's right in line with their season-long average in terms of the three-point attempt rate. They got to the line a lot, and they had a 45% free throw attempt rate in the ACC tournament without Cooper on the court. And Con took 24 free throws down in Charlotte. He made 22 of them. So yes, they oriented the offense around Con. And he was amazing driving the ball. Like, they really got it downhill. They shot 61% on twos in this game, and a lot of that damage came at the rim. I think one of the things that is a little interesting in some of those lineups is, look, all season long, Duke has really started to trend away from taking so many mid-range. They've taken fewer and fewer mid-range shots over each season under John Shire. This season, they've taken very little. The one guy who really does take a decent amount of shots from the mid-range is Cooper.
Right.
So without him in the lineup, pretty much everything for Duke was at the rim or it was at a three. I mean, almost half their shots were coming from beyond the arc, and another third of them were coming from right at the rim. So you put Con in the playmaking role, you get maybe even more. I mean, it's like less overall talent and playmaking skill, obviously without Cooper, but allows you to play more minutes with someone like Isaiah Evans. So you've got 4 guards and shooters around Kaman Malawach or Pat Gongba, who played great down in Charlotte. Both those guys played well, I thought. And Pat does a nice job sort of making up for the loss of Malik's front court playmaking, because Malik's they run so much of their offense through him at the high post when he's in there,
right.
and Gongba gives them some of that too. So I would say, it was their ability they took even fewer mid-range shots, and they drove it, they got downhill, and I thought Duke staff also did a good job sort of moving the chess pieces around, and you saw them going to more of these staggered actions on the sides of the floor with Con and Isaiah, and sort of playing those guys off of one another, and Con was just man-possessed, driving the ball, curling off screens, getting downhill. Really impressive stuff to, I think, make a couple of tweaks to the offense, but kind of keep the base structure in place. So, very impressive. But certainly you want number 2 back on the floor for Duke for the stretch run here.
It should be fun. Have you filled out a bracket?
No, I have not filled out a bracket yet. The way I tend to do it, I've been doing this with my godfather up in Michigan since I was a little kid, and we go round by round filling them out.
Okay.
So I actually kind of like that, because then a clunker of a first round doesn't totally throttle you a little bit. So I have not filled out a bracket. I probably will but wanted to probably see some of the first 4 action before I actually put pen to paper here.
Gotcha. All right, Tar Heels to the Elite 8. That is Brian Geisinger. I mean, they could do it.
Right. They could definitely do it. I mean, one game at a time, obviously.
Oh, no, I'm thinking I'm going 4 games at a time. Brian Geisinger, split the action on Twitter. Not on Twitter, on Substack. On Twitter, he is at bgeis_birds. Sir, as always, thank you so much.
Yeah, take care, guys.
That's Brian Geisinger, who joins us usually on Mondays, but I was not here Monday, and you know how I am with guests. Like, if I'm not here on a Wednesday, is Chip Patterson on the show on a Wednesday if I'm not here?
No, he's not.
No. We either do it before, sometimes on a Tuesday, or we do it on a Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm very selfish about some of these people. I'm not even hiding it. When we come back, a person I am also selfish about, Tripp Tracy. Hurricanes, yes, there are other things going on. Hurricanes have won 7.
Yeah, they have.
Not only have they won 7 in a row, but they have looked the part doing it.
So good.
They have looked like the Hurricanes. Where have you been? All right, well, we are going to talk about goaltending and the new guys and more with Tripp Tracy next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but that doesn't mean me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL draft approaches, insight on free agents and prospects, plus all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 8. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The tournament is here. Everybody's excited. I want you to have a chance to win a share of $1 million in bonus bets. Here's all you've got to do. Bet on the lowest seed you think can win, and if it wins, you will win a share of $1 million worth of bonus bets. That is amazing. To be able to use their money. I don't think the 15s or 16s are winning, but I do think some 14s can, like UNC Wilmington over Texas Tech. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Download America's #1 sports book today. It's the dog of the day for lots of bones. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Winning pre-live moneyline wager on lowest seed required. Each $1 million jackpot to be split equally among all eligible winners. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Which of us, detective, do you suspect is the millionaire?
The evidence is everywhere. Your diamond necklace, Monty's new yacht, and the butler's new convertible. Admit it, you're all Maximilian scratch-off winners.
Of course we are. With 25 prizes of $1 million, you could be too.
New Maximilian from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 2.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Attention watch enthusiasts and collectors. Bailey's Fine Jewelry invites you to an exclusive pre-owned Rolex event happening for 2 days only, March 21st and 22nd at their Village District location in Raleigh. Discover North Carolina's largest selection of vintage and pre-owned Rolex timepieces featuring sought-after models like the Daytona and Submariner and collector favorites like the iconic Pepsi and Hulk. Whether you're a seasoned collector or searching for your very first Rolex, this is your chance to explore an unmatched collection March 21st and 22nd only at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in the Village District. Visit BaileyBox.com for event details. Your perfect Rolex awaits.
Time is running out, folks. I need you to go to caniacsbike.com. Dennis Cox here for the Law Tigers. The Carolina Hurricanes, the Law Tigers, Tobacco Road, Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint are all teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Simple to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com. Sign-ups last until April 6th. The bike will be given away on the final home game of the season. caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
Phenomenal track.
I love it.
Bill Withers, one of the more underrated artists of our time. And it is a lovely day. Hurricanes have won 7 in a row. They are flying to San Jose to continue this 4-game road trip, but started in Philadelphia, it seems like forever ago. But that's where they were when they last played, and that's where they were when Pyotr Kochetkov played. In my estimation, and I am not an expert, the best period he has played for the Hurricanes ever. And I wanted to get more of an expert, and there's no doubt that Tripp Tracy, our FanDuel Sportsnet analyst extraordinaire, my friend, way more of an expert on this than I am. I thought the first period had all the makings of a guy that you ride with for a long time, not just this year. I thought he made the hard saves look easy, and he made some great saves, but I thought it was the best period he played as a Hurricane. What were your thoughts, especially period 1?
Well, I mean, I preface it by saying it's been a steady build of, I think, the best stretch that he's played, and you and I have enjoyed talking about some other stretches. It seems like historically for Pyotr, they happen, typically December to January in there, where he's enjoyed his best and most stylish hockey. But that first period, the way that he was rolling going in, he was athletic at all the right times. He put himself in position to get hit at all the right times. And then most importantly, that breakaway save at 1-0, and then the ridiculous save with his toe, he altered the course of the game. And, I've been he's hilarious on the plane because he came back on the when we were coming back from Detroit on the dad's trip, and his dad wasn't able to make it over from Russia, but his English has gotten way better, and he goes, "Hi, legends." And I told him, I said, Pyotr, this Instagram that you've got going is outstanding for young goaltenders. And I encourage anybody that hasn't checked it out to check it out. And I bring it up with regards to that first period and his save of the night, because he had just had a post about switching to this new tongue in his true skate. Now, Freddie Anderson has used it for a couple of seasons, but it's a 3D print. And in short, and if you look at his IG post, it gives him more flexibility. The skate feels more mobile and more of a one piece, not just, not the boot and the bracket. And you look at that save, he had said that with the previous tongue he used in his skate, he felt like he was moving in concrete. And that epitomizes, that mechanical adjustment he made, and then the athleticism that he's got. And, it's 1-1 if either one of those go. So aside from the fact that he truly looked like a number one goaltender, and he's looked like one for a significant stretch here. And if you're the Philadelphia Flyers early in the game, you're like, well, it's going to take something lucky to beat him here tonight. So he's played some other phenomenal, I think about the third period against Toronto earlier this year at home, a game that did not start well. That was highlight reel-esque. But, for me, the game was on the line, looking for your 7th consecutive victory.
Mm-hmm.
And it was his second great first period in the 2 visits to Philadelphia this year that ends up allowing you to cruise to victory.
Yeah, I want to dig down on that, on the breakaway save and the follow. The breakaway was Ryan Poehling, who scored, by the way, in the other game that they played, I believe, up in Philadelphia. So he saves the breakaway there with he doesn't have to be fancy, right? He's just patient and he makes the save. And then Bobby Brink has the second chance. But this is one of the reasons why I thought it was such a good period for him, is that you could follow his eyes in a way, even though you can't see his eyes, you can see where his focus is. And I just thought his reads and anticipation were as good as they have ever been. And it made these saves seem easy, even though that toe save that you talked about is not an easy save. He was ready for it. And where I don't care how flexible you are, if you're not anticipating that, and this is something that, like Vasilevsky and Shesterkin and, Hellebuck, these guys do this on a routine basis. But it's the first time that I can see all of these things coming together for him. Maybe it's a hot streak, who knows? But to me, he was the first star of the game in the first period.
Yeah, Adam, you bring up amongst some other goaltenders, and by the way, a guy that he just beat in the homestand, Vasilevsky. Yeah. And if you watch him, and I'll go back and watch clips of the game. And when you're an analyst, you really can't do what scouts do or even a general manager does. And, they might watch 2 or 3 guys and specifically focus on them on a given night, depending on who they want to look at. As an analyst, my job is to view the entire game. So it's tough to do that. But when you look at the replay of the breakaway save and then the toe save, the big improvement for me is he didn't take a breath. It's easy to take a breath after you make a big breakaway save. And if you just solely focus on Kochetkov, there's 0 breath. And the reason I reference Vasilevsky is that game in January, the rescheduled game, he had played a great game, but he took a breath late in regulation on a couple of different fronts, and it ended up costing the Hurricanes the game and cost him an otherwise excellent performance. And for me, that is just, in a nutshell, growth. If you just go back and watch him from the, playing big on the breakaway to then the toe save. I think earlier in his career, especially after a big breakaway save like that, he would have felt good about himself. He would have come off of it a little bit. You would have seen it in his movement. You could almost feel the relaxation prior in his head. And if you watch him, he didn't take any breath whatsoever, and that is, for me, massive growth.
Super encouraging sign. Just like watching a power play goal. Tripp, they scored a power play goal, and I actually loved the way they scored it rather than if they had just passed the puck around and gotten a one-timer, because I think it was a lesson, because it was shot, traffic, rebound, goal. It was you have an extra guy. Take advantage of the fact that you have an extra human on the ice. That, to me, that was what was the most encouraging about it.
Even if you back it up to the face-off. So the Kotkaniemi line had 2 excellent shifts in the first and second period of not dipping their toe in the water. And the one in the second period, Hall ends up scoring the goal, draws a penalty. So taking charge of the period very early. But then if you look at that power play face-off, it is Mr. Impactful. That is 0 hyperbole. Diving in. You'd love to win face-offs clean, and you will at times. But you need guys diving in from the wings at any point, but let alone on a special teams face-off. And diving in from the wings is Jackson Blake, that allows you to come up with power play face-off possession to start. Then you look at the puck movement. Nobody is stagnant, because if you have good puck movement and everybody's standing around, you're still not doing anything good. So you had bodily movement and puck movement, and then you had everybody converging on the net, whether it be Gostisbehere, who did a great job getting low for the initial shot, and then Aho's right there, and the loose change, and Hall hammers it home. So right back from the face-off of diving in from Jackson Blake to get that power play possession, you had every ingredient sequentially that you want in a power play goal.
So I wrote down that, to me, like, that was one of the best plays of the night. That pass, which he doesn't get an assist on because there were two other guys touched the puck before Hall scored. The Robinson one-armed assist from the corner, which was for the first of two Mark Jankowski goals, who continues to shoot 100% from the floor. This is like Moses Malone. That's what he's become. But I want to get back to Jackson Blake because I don't know that you can play any better without scoring a goal and not be a goalie. So it's been 18 games without a goal for him, and I'm not sure he's not been one of Carolina's maybe 5 best players regardless of position since that time.
He's driven whatever line he's been on for the most part, and I would have needed a lobotomy. The GM meeting's just finished. I know they talked about goalie interference, but to be able to get to the front of the net and to create the all-important first goal of the game with willingness, determination, and then skill. If, and I thought about it afterwards, John Tortorella, one of the reasons he probably challenged is because he knew what Carolina's power play was at that point.
Right, exactly.
Truthfully. And, but if they had ruled that no goal, I would have needed a lobotomy on the spot. But Jackson Blake created all of it. And so when you and I have the privilege of watching, with the eye test, and you can look at the advanced numbers on a regular basis, take Michkov for Philadelphia. He has figured out, he's a couple years younger, the grind of the NHL season.
Yeah.
Not just the impact in the playmaking and shooting department, but his growth away from the puck, defensively. I totally believe, with very little hesitation or fear, that Jackson Blake, who has impressed us all year, his best moments in his rookie season are in front of him, not behind him. It's just what you see on a nightly basis.
Yeah, I mean, he just impacts the game in so many different ways. 18 games, no goals, 7 assists. He's a +9. And I know he's playing on the top line. I know Rod Brindamore really, in his heart of hearts, wants to have Andrei Svechnikov there just to add some more size, because when we go into the playoffs and it becomes more physical, it will be more difficult for him. But to me, that line with Blake, Jarvis, and Aho has been too good to not leave together, at least for now. Let me ask you one quick thing, or maybe two quickly before we go, because I know you're about to board a plane. Is Andrei making the trip west, as far as you know?
I do not know, because I walked my dog, Frank, this morning. And, right now I'm having a moment because, God bless America, but you can have California, and there's nothing like getting on a 5-hour flight if we've got a good headwind with tight pants going in. And so my hope is that he will be on the trip, but I did not attend practice today. So today was going to be your first full skate, with some well-timed optionals yesterday and Monday. So I'll have that news shortly when I board the aircraft. Listen, with a team that's won 7 in a row, and truthfully, since the trade deadline, it hasn't surprised me even in the least, because the intuition was that, when they had an outcome, it's a really cohesive group that, boy, Scott Morrow deserves a lot of credit, by the way. He's allowed you to be patient with Dmitry Orlov. But, you want to err on the side of caution whenever Svechnikov returns and if he's on this plane. But even with all these groovy things going on, AG, Andrei Svechnikov has had a tough year, and he has the ability to turn a game on its ear. You still could say that he is the most important forward of the group. If they can get him, Andrei, with charisma, on and off, in terms of what he brings to their lineup, even with all this good stuff going on, you become infinitely more dangerous.
No question about it. He is a game-changing player. He was in a yellow non-contact jersey at the skate today, at the practice today. Dmitry Orlov took regular shifts with Shane Gostisbehere. It almost does look like we're going to see a defensive pair change with Orlov and Gostisbehere together, maybe, unless they were just letting, I don't know. I don't even know what they were doing, but because I wasn't out at the practice today. But Slavin and Burns practiced together. Gostisbehere and Orlov, Chatfield and Walker. Man, they've all been good. And I think Scott Morrow has been really good. He has certainly given I think he's at least given the organization the confidence to know that if he's needed, he can play. And I know, fans tend to go overboard with prospects. But if he's needed, I think he's more than capable of playing. And who knows when Alexander Nikishin comes over from the KHL. All right, Tripp, you got to go board a plane, tight pants and all. Good luck on the flight to California. And I will talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, G, I look forward to it. Love you. And I'm already missing Carolina. Again, no disrespect to California, but out on the dog trails this morning.
Gorgeous.
I don't want to leave.
Yeah,
I don't want to leave, but hopefully it's a good swing through the Golden Bear State.
There you go. Thanks, Tripp.
Talk to you.
Tripp, who loves North Carolina. That's like the anti-Mikko Rantanen.
I know. Right?
I'm just kidding.
Well, we love Tripp here, so
I'm just kidding.
We support
him.
Right,
we got one-timers, right? So
yes,
questions possibly in the YouTube right there in the little chat box, youtube.com/Adam Gold Show /999 The Fan. Your questions, my answers, one time only. Next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We are knee-deep in March. The month is crazy. Some even call it mad. Time for your college basketball promo of the week. You can get a share of $1 million in bonus bets if you bet on the lowest winning seed of the day. That's an upset you will not be upset about. See what I did there? FanDuel. Best place to bet on the tournament, FanDuel.com/AGS. Download America's #1 sports book today. FanDuel.com/AGS. It's a dog of the day. You will be happy you did it. In March, anything can happen. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Winning pre-live moneyline wager on lowest seed required. Each $1 million jackpot to be split equally among all eligible winners. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit, investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people age 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/aging to find your county's ombudsman.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Dear North North Carolina. For 70 incredible years, you've been by our side. From Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to the wonders of Antiques Roadshow, from This Old House to NC Weekend, we've explored, learned, and grown together. Because of your support, PBS North Carolina has gone beyond the screen, inspiring, educating, and entertaining in classrooms, at home, and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
This is Adam Gold.
Did you see what Duke is paying the quarterback that they pulled out of the portal from Tulane?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. 2-year deal, $4 million per.
Oh, wow.
Per. So.
Do they want a quarterback named Victoria?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Hi. Chip Patterson next hour. Top of the hour, I'll explain my position on North Carolina in the field. Happy they're there. Already 1-0 because I told you. Also, Sean Nahas, who is head coach of the North Carolina Courage, their second match coming up on Saturday. We'll talk to him later as well. Tomorrow on the program, obviously a lot more basketball. North Carolina doesn't play till Friday. What a break. Oh, man. There's so many people who are mad. Because, I mean, not only did they get a bid,
yeah,
but they get 2 days off in between first four game. Like, they're not here. They have to go to Milwaukee. It's not like they also got the Raleigh region. But also, if you look at their bracket, it's kind of doable.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. Mm-hmm. All right. One-timers.
All right. So, looking at our questions from the YouTube, we have a few here.
Okay.
Let me see. First up, we'll go with Robert.
Hi, Robert.
Who said or asked, since the improbable usually happens in the tournament, will the most improbable probability be that UConn wins 2 games in Raleigh and makes the Sweet 16?
No. Isn't UConn's... who's UConn's second game against? It's not against Duke. Duke has... I'm hoping Duke has Baylor in the second round so we get to see Jeremy Roach. I don't have UConn winning a second game. I have UConn winning the first game. I do not have them winning a second game. Could they? Yeah, I think over the course of the season they have proven themselves to be kind of just okay. So, yeah. I don't anticipate them winning twice.
Okay. Well, and this one, I had to look for it because Greg's asked a couple of times and we haven't gotten to him. So he wants to know who coaches the Canes special teams. How can the team be number 1 in PKs but number 26 in power plays?
The penalty kill is coached by Tim Gleason. The power play is coached by the head coach, same guy who coached last year's power play and the year before and the year before and the year before and the year before. It's really, I know people are like, we should hire this, we should hire. While some teams, I'm sure, do have a power play coach, I don't think it's as common as people think. And to be perfectly honest, it isn't that complicated. When they move the puck and they move each other, they're good. And when they don't, they're not. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
So.
All right, another Canes question from NC State moderator. Adam, do you think we're going to see Orlov in the playoffs?
Yes.
And who do you take out of the lineup if Carrier comes back?
He is coming back. That's a question for the head coach, and there is no good answer to that. So when Andrei Svechnikov comes back, I think the good assumption is that Tyson Jost comes out. But when William Carrier comes back, I don't know who comes out at that point. It would be tough to take Jack Roslovic out because he's goals. He's got 21. But are you taking Mark Jankowski out? Are you taking Eric Robinson out? I'm not so sure. So we have 15 games to worry about that.
Exactly. Well, last but not least from Steven, the question now should maybe shift to this. Did San Diego State deserve to be in?
Yes. What happens during the tournament has nothing to do with who should be or who should not be in. We should understand that. We'll get into it next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary, with a reminder, look, you could spend thousands of dollars simply to lower your mortgage rate by $50 a month, but that doesn't seem like an efficient use of your thousands of dollars, now does it? Just to save $50 a month, that's what you're doing when you're paying closing costs. If you don't pay closing costs, like I have never done with Miller Lending, 11 times, yes, I should have a shirt that says 11 on the back and has Miller Lending on top. I have never paid closing costs. I've saved myself about $50,000 in that area, and I lowered my monthly payment each time. In fact, the last time I refied, I lowered my payment by over $300 a month. I saved $5,000 and $300 monthly. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before.
Oh, yeah! Big money!
Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Growing up in Sanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. Now, as many of you know, my wife just had our second child, little baby girl, and parents, say it with me. Kids are messy. We have a toddler. We have a newborn. There's dirt. There's crumbs. There's everything everywhere. And that means spring cleaning can't come here soon enough. So why wait? Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. The number is 919-995-0000, or you can go online at zeroresraleigh.com. Just say you want the 99.9 The Fan special. They'll know what that means. It's 3 rooms of carpets cleaned starting at $119 plus 20% off air duct cleaning as well. All you have to do is visit zeroresraleigh.com or call 919-995-0000 and ask for the 99.9 The Fan special. Spell it backward or forward, it spells the same, Zero Res.
When it comes to mixing drugs, you may think you have a safe approach, but the bottom line is, mixing drugs is never safe. It can cause serious health problems like a heart attack or brain damage. Learn more at cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
Simpson will inbound under his own basket. Pinedo pressures the ball. He throws a baseball right-hand pass, arcing toward the far free throw line. It's loose out of the basket. Right up and in by Knox. 7/10 of a second to go. Amar Knox gives Alabama State the lead, 70-68. Simpson with his right hand received a 90-foot pass leading a 68 over St. Francis. Welcome to March.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here. I've got Chip Patterson coming up in 15 minutes. It is a Wednesday.
Yeah, and you're back in studio.
I am back in studio.
We missed
you. But I was with my friends at the DMV.
Yes.
For the last 2 days.
I know. It's always good times.
Holy cow. I brought a chair, though.
Oh, whoa, you were prepared.
Because they make you line up outside.
Yeah.
You do.
Yes. Chair, snacks, book.
Yeah, we did that. We did that, too. I brought my laptop.
Yeah.
And a mobile hotspot.
Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. No, we had stuff
prepared.
to do. Stuff to do. All right, lots to do here on the show. And again, Chip Patterson joins us in about 15 minutes. And we're obviously going to talk a lot of basketball. I don't know how much football stuff. We might get into some coaching stuff with Chip, but we're all basketball and a little bit of sprinkle of hockey.
Yes.
Might talk a little golf with Chip just because Rory won.
I know you're excited about that.
I was very excited. I was very nervous Monday morning. Rory was too, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Second try at the news of the day. First, I want to start with the game last night because North Carolina just opened up a gigantic can on San Diego State. And as a buddy of mine on Twitter who has been tweeting me nonstop, just kidding, a lot, which is fine because I like the feedback and I like the interaction. People ask me, why do you keep talking to these people? I'm like, because it's what I freaking do.
Right.
We don't take phone calls here. So these are phone calls to me.
Yeah.
So, like, we can disagree all day long. And I disagreed yesterday vehemently with people who are on this show as a guest. No joke.
Yeah.
And it's what I do. Get over it.
It happens.
Right? And don't police the internet.
No.
Don't police what people say or how they respond as long as it's respectful.
Yeah, and they're not nasty.
Don't be internet cop.
Right.
All right. The game last night. Hubert Davis on watching R.J. Davis play like he did.
Yeah, it's not surprising, and it's also comforting as a head coach to have him out there on the floor. As a head coach, I don't know what it looks like to exist without him on the sideline and on the floor, and I don't want to think about it. And you think about not just his game, but his character, who he is, the type of person, the relationship that we have and developed over the years. And to see him just have an outstanding game tonight was really fun to watch.
He was great. Last week when they announced the all-ACC voting, regardless of who should have won coach or defensive player of the year, Con Knippel was a second-team all-ACC player. He was no worse than the fourth best player in the league, should have been first team. R.J. Davis made second team, and I thought that was really a career achievement award. No offense. I mean, R.J. Davis is a great player. He was last year's player of the year. I voted for him. But he was really, at best, a third-team all-ACC player this year. But he got second team because, again, he's been around forever. He has saved his best basketball, though, for the end. Last night, phenomenal. He's going to have to continue to play that way for UNC to advance. But I think he can. Jalen Withers certainly saved his best basketball for the last month or so of the season, as did Van Allen Lubin. Looks like Elliot Cadeau is getting more consistent. It's kind of fun to watch, isn't it? It's exciting. All right, now here's RJ with everything that happened this week, everything that was said. By the way, his interview with John Rothstein after the game last night, there seemed to be a little extra from RJ. Oh, I loved it.
A little spice?
Yeah, only because Rothstein called it a crime against humanity or something. I don't know, something silly. It was like...
Calm down.
Should North Carolina have gotten a bid? No, they shouldn't have. But they were close.
Yeah.
So it's not that criminal.
No.
Look, I'll get into it in a minute, but my gosh, people have gone overboard. All right, here's RJ on ignoring everything.
One thing about us, yes, we hear the noise, but we don't really pay attention to it. We stay within ourselves, and I think Coach Davis, he sets a good example of, for us, in order to, play at this level, he always uses reference, put on, horses have blinders when they go on the races, and that's to, avoid any distraction that doesn't allow them to be their best in the race. So I think that reference, sits well with the team. We're just, focused on what we have to do, not really paying too much attention to what's being said about us and whatnot. Just our preparation leading up to the games.
They're good. Flat out. They're good. All right, now, very quickly before we break, Chip Patterson coming up in a little bit. What happened last night is exactly what I thought would. I didn't think they were going to blow out San Diego State by 1 billion. I really didn't.
No.
But I thought they would win the game.
Yes.
Right? Absolutely thought they would win the game. I've said they're going to beat Ole Miss on Friday. I give them a real good chance to beat Iowa State if they see Iowa State on Sunday. And it is an annuity for UNC to play Michigan State. I'm just saying. Now, this Michigan State team is really good. And this North Carolina team, not as good. But if they're playing on the following weekend, I won't be that shocked. I just won't be. And with all of that said, let's be perfectly honest here. There isn't a single one of you out there who are Carolina fans that was confident that your team was getting a bid because you knew in your heart, yeah, they're not going to get in. They didn't beat anybody other than UCLA. So, yeah, it sucks. There's a lot of things that say we're good, and we watch them. We know they're good. But what have I used? The same phrase I have used. It's a legal term. Not a legal term, but it's about the law. It doesn't matter what I know. It only matters what I can prove. And I've said this about UNC basketball. I know they're good. I just can't prove it. There is no proof that they're good. And if you are in the discussion of, are they in? Are they out? If you're in that discussion at the end of the year, you can't use the term deserved anything.
No.
You just can't. And that's basically what I implored of UNC fans. Because regardless of how UNC got in the field, we could have spun a wheel. But 8 teams on the board spin a wheel and it lands on UNC. That could be how they got in the field. It could have something to do with Bubba Cunningham being the chairman of the selection committee. I don't believe so. But I don't know. I'm not in the room. I'm not one of those, 12 people voting on who gets in. It could have been, it's North Carolina, regardless of who Bubba Cunningham is. And because, hey, look, the tournament's a TV show. There's a lot of reasons why. But I'll tell you, the people telling you this is why they got in, everybody's guessing. I don't believe, I've said this before, I said it all last week and the week before. I think pretty much the at-large board is just about done before conference tournament week. Not during. I think they look at your overall schedule. Now, if you're right on the edge, maybe it can help. But I'll tell you what doesn't help. Wins over Notre Dame and Wake Forest. That ain't helping you in.
It's not.
You're either already in or you're not. And it says to me that North Carolina was like maybe that last team still holding on to a spot before the ACC tournament. So, or maybe they were kind of pushed in and the comeback that nearly got them across the line against Duke, maybe that mattered. My point is that nobody knows. So stop pretending that you know. Here's what I do know. It was really hard to make a convincing argument that they belonged in. I mean, it's all common sense, right? It's just, it was hard to make an argument that they belonged in. One win over the actual field. Yes, I know they beat American, the 230th ranked team in the country, who is playing in the first four as one of the lowest rated 16 seeds. I get it. They beat American. Congratulations. You've got 2 wins over the field. Let's be smart. They've got 1 win over the at-large pool. It was UCLA. It's a good win. I'm not even going to get into how it was won. Just like I'm not going to get into how they lost some games. Could have easily won at Kansas at the beginning of the season. Absolutely. Could have easily won. Could have beat Duke Friday night in the ACC semifinals. Didn't. But here's what I know. With all of the metrics, and all of the metrics matter. They're all they all add to the to your stew to see who gets in, which stew we choose, which chili we choose.
Which has flavor, which doesn't.
Yeah. What wasn't in Carolina's chili was meat. No meat. Now, some people like vegetarian chili. Well, that would be Carolina because there's not enough wins there. If we did a blind resume test, you would look at North Carolina's and go, yeah, that team doesn't belong. You would, if you were being honest. But I get it. Fans are not supposed to be honest.
No.
And look, should we be aggrieved that they got in? Hell no. But it's fair to point out that while West Virginia's governor and attorney general were farcical with their lawsuit and their press conference, it's a good thing that nothing else needs to be addressed in West Virginia.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. Education is dynamite.
Poverty.
We have everybody's got 3 squares.
Yeah.
Everybody's good in West Virginia. We don't need the governor and the attorney general to deal with anything. They can spend time, forget about money, on this. While that was farcical, you know what isn't? West Virginia's case to be an NCAA tournament team over all 4 of the teams playing in the first 4 this weekend. All 4 of the at-large teams do not have as good a case as West Virginia. I am blown away that team wasn't in.
This stinks at the highest level.
I don't disagree with him. Governor Morrissey, you ain't wrong. The whole thing was stupid yesterday or 2 days ago, but you ain't wrong. I can't believe that team, with what they accomplished over the course of the season, I can't believe that they're not in the tournament. I just can't. And I'm not saying that they should have been over North Carolina. You could have put him in over Xavier. You could have put him in over Texas, over San Diego State. Doesn't matter. I am stunned that West Virginia wasn't in the field. Mm-hmm. Even if you just took, like I've complained about North Carolina's record against the top 100, which is only 6-13. Top 100. Let's forget Quad 1. The best 100 teams in the country, UNC is 6-13 against them. West Virginia was 13-12. What are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? Anyway, I'm not going to get into the minutia. Maybe I'll do a post, on Twitter so everybody can get pissed off again. But West Virginia's got a case. Remember last year in college football, Florida State should have been in the playoff.
Yeah.
But, no. We have eyes. We're using eye test now.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama goes.
Yeah. I brought that up while you were gone because people were trying to say, the ACC has no idea what it feels like. Oh, we don't?
So, had Bubba Cunningham, and I don't know the gentleman's last name, Keith, the vice chair.
Yes,
right?
Morsi.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Doesn't matter. Had they sat there on CBS or CBS Sportsnet or ESPN or wherever they were on and simply said, eye test. Yeah, we watch basketball, and our eyes told us North Carolina was a tournament team. If they had said that, I would have been on board because that would have made sense to me. But this Wob, Bart Torvik, all that stuff, yeah, that stuff all matters. But those are tiebreakers. Because when you look at what teams have done, actual, games that they've won, there wasn't a tiebreaker here. Certainly not West Virginia. West Virginia did get hosed. Again, I'm not saying they get hosed and North Carolina comes out. There were many options to come out. Didn't have to be North Carolina. West Virginia should have been in the field. All right, Chip Patterson's going to join us. I just ate up some of his time. Chip joins us every Wednesday, and it's my favorite day of the week. Next.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're in the middle of the madness.
Tar Heels on the run. Trimble to the cup layup. Counted in the foul. Carolina can get within 6.
From the first four to the national championship.
R.J. Davis swishes it home. That one rainbowed up and through.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
Lubin gets the rebound and hammers it home.
The road to San Antonio is driven by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, and First Horizon Bank. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Gold here from my friends at X Golf and Carry, the premier indoor golf experience in the Triangle. And coming up on Saturday, March 22nd from 12 to 3, I will be out there and we are going to be having a great time, just like everybody's been having there for about a year. That's right, a year, a celebration. Great golf, great games, great prizes, PGA Pro on site. We're going to have so much fun. You're going to want to pinch yourself or something. PlayXGolf.com/carry. 12 to 3, Saturday. See you there.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Which of us, detective, do you suspect is the millionaire?
The evidence is everywhere. Your diamond necklace, Monty's new yacht, and the butler's new convertible. Admit it, you're all Maximilian scratch-off winners.
Of course we are. With 25 prizes of $1 million, you could be too.
New Maximilian from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 2.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
So I was reading an article about the 10 oddest Guinness World Records, and the thing that caught my eye was most skips by a cat in 1 minute. This woman has a jump rope and is skipping with her cat. Okay, I have got a cat, and let me just tell you, the skipping alone would cause this, but swinging a jump rope anywhere near my sweet kitty Carol, she'd be gone for like 5 days.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here. Hope everybody is well where you are. As always, you can see us on YouTube, youtube.com/Adam Gold Show /999 The Fan. Either way, you get to us. You can leave little comments in the chat box there. Victoria sees them. Again, I don't, but that's fine. Share, subscribe, like, rate, review. I don't know, chant. Anything you want to do is fine. And when you see me on Wednesdays at about this time, albeit maybe a shade later than normal because I ranted, Chip Patterson, you also see him. CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator, my friend, master of Chipalytics.
That's right.
But I am sure they have been crunching numbers as when the brackets were revealed. So I want you to take me back to Sunday, just after, I guess it was just after 6:30 when the bracket reveal happened. I was en route back from Virginia Beach after a soccer tournament. So I only found out about it when I opened up my phone at a stop along the way for refuel. And whoa, they're in. So take me through Chip Patterson's reaction to UNC getting in.
Oh, it was a loud, large cackle. Because what this was on a lot of levels was just another chapter in Wouldn't It Be Hilarious? Yeah. Because ultimately, some of the things that I root for in sports more than any other is whatever's going to make me laugh or me and lots of other people laugh. Right. And after all of the hand-wringing and all of the consternation, not only is it funny to see this work out for the North Carolina Tar Heels, but in the placement of the selection show. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, I'm glad I can take you through this.
Yeah.
There were a lot of compliments. There was a really, really like great nod to Greg Gumbel. You know, much deserved. Yes. You know, they played Start Me Up. They talked about how much he loved the Rolling Stones, how much he loved college basketball. They let him talk about it in his own words, R.I.P., you know, like in something that they had on file.
Right.
And they came in, they paid honor. It was like, this was something he loved. And then they said, and let's go to the bracket. They didn't do that thing that the selection show does, you know, where they do a whole A block and then we go to commercial and then we come back to reveal the top 25. No, they just ripped right into it. And then Zucker's like, Auburn, the number 1 overall seed in the South region. And so we are not 7 minutes into the selection show and North Carolina's on the screen as an 11. And I laughed really, really hard and really loud because it was the most hilarious possible outcome of this bubble situation. I would say that fast forward, by the way, the fact that West Virginia and Indiana, the two teams that were the most popular props politically to be able to rip apart the North Carolina inclusion, would have been held up from the coaching moves that just happened if they had been included. Yep. Indiana gets to move forward and hire Darian DeVries. Obviously, real tough go over it for West Virginia, but West Virginia lost to Colorado.
Right.
And it's only like and that's the one thing I've heard Joe Giglio, I've heard a lot of people talk about, you know, we say conference tournaments don't matter to the seeding. I think it matters to the bubble, and it matters in this way. And I heard you talk about eye test. What about the eyes that are shared? What about the games that happen when the entire selection committee is sitting in the same room together? Bubba Cunningham has to leave the room when they are debating North Carolina, but he doesn't have to leave the hotel, a ballroom that they're all sitting around and watching games on. And when West Virginia goes 0-1 in their conference tournament, when Indiana goes 0-1 in their conference tournament, loses by double digits, when Ohio State goes 0-1 in the conference tournament, like it is, especially with a muddy bubble where no one's great, it becomes more of let's throw some teams out than let's rush to put them in. And I think in that sense, then, you know, it made sense how they got to that decision.
All right. I think you and I disagree about a couple of things here. One, I don't think the conference tournaments play as big a role, even in the selection process. I don't believe they play a role in the seeding. Because if we're talking,
I'm ignoring the Michigan. I'm ignoring I'm ignoring the things that happen on Sunday and the things that happen at the top of the bracket. I think when you are looking at a gross middle, where they have had to go deeper on the board than they have had to in recent years because of the number of favorites and number one seeds that won their conference tournaments, they have had to get a nastier bubble than they have before.
No question.
And so that led to them just being like, let's get some things out of here. Like, you ever just choose one corner of an open space to clean up? Because I'm just like, all right, we just got to take care of the breakfast nook. Because if we don't take care of something, it's just going to be way too much for us to clean up this entire space right now.
You and I agree on that. West Virginia should have been a team in the field regardless of what happened. If they got shut out by Colorado, they should have been in the field based on their performance this year. I mean, do I think they should have been like a top 8 seed? No. But my gosh, they deserve to be in this field. They have 4 wins better than Carolina's best win. I mean,
that's great.
But at some point, who you beat matters. But again, I'm not saying that they belonged in over North Carolina. I'm saying they belonged in. You can make a case they belonged in ahead of Xavier, that they belonged in ahead of Texas, that they belonged in ahead of San Diego State. I'm here for all those conversations. To me, West Virginia was actually robbed of a spot. But I'll also say this. I think if you are still in the, we're not sure on Selection Sunday, if your name's not in it, I have a hard time. I mean, I don't understand why West Virginia wasn't in over some of these teams. But if we're still not sure, then deserved is not a word I'd use. And my pushback over the weekend, and I said this going in, Carolina cannot prove that they're good because they haven't beaten enough teams, right? They just haven't. They're 6-13 against the top 100. That is not an NCAA tournament team in terms of what the record says. But Bubba Cunningham and company can watch the games and go, yeah, they're good. If they had just said eye test, if Bubba Cunningham and Keith, and I don't even know his last name, if they had sat there and said, have you watched them? Have you actually watched basketball? They're good. That would have brushed aside the 1-12 versus quad 1. They could have said that, and it would have been more believable than the empty, we have other metrics. Okay. Then what in those metrics had them ahead of these other teams? That would have been a much better follow-up question. I don't know if people were caught off guard because the difference between win over bubble between West Virginia and North Carolina was nothing. In fact, in Bart Torvik, West Virginia's win over bubble is better than Carolina's. In the net, it was flipped again, North Carolina just 1 spot ahead of West Virginia. So I don't get using all these metrics and then not explaining them to people. We're just supposed to take it on its face that I just think they left a lot more things unanswered.
I don't think it's that important.
Okay, that's fair. Then what? The most important thing would be the wins, right?
Well, no, I think that West Virginia hasn't defeated a single team of substance since January 20th. They got a lot of,
but their entire schedule matters.
That's
what they tell us. They tell us that we got rid of the last 10 metric. It's only about your entire.
Bring back the last 10 metric.
I'm here for that, but they specifically did away with that.
Right. What they have done is they have flooded these committee members with numbers.
Right.
And they have made it more like the college football playoff selection committee where you can make up and do whatever you want.
Right.
That's
why I said eye test would have worked.
Some of the same people that argued to put Ken Pom and Bart Torvik and wins above bubble and all of these additional metrics on the team sheets are the same ones that are upset when those same metrics were being used to describe why North Carolina got in ahead of West Virginia. A huge be careful what you wish for. Because you know what? Back when this was the RPI, you could scream about the RPI, but there wasn't this much subjectivity to it. And if, you were only focusing on the quads and nothing else, but now you have truly made it Chipolytics. You have blended arts, sciences, and vibes. You can make up whatever you want.
Absolutely.
And point to whatever you want. Because I've told you before, I've seen the playoff committee on the football side, their team sheets. It's just so many numbers that you just want like green and red numbers, right? Or not have red numbers, have more green numbers. North Carolina had a top 5 non-conference strength schedule in the whole country.
They did.
Some of those,
I would say they had the best one. Because your non-conference strength of schedule is skewed also by the really crappy teams that you play. But here's the other part of this equation that somehow got left out, is that they're not judging you based on your non-conference schedule. They're judging you based on your entire schedule. Because that's what that's how you get in.
Green numbers and red numbers. I think that they've just introduced a lot more stuff. They've done information overload to the selection committee members, and the selection committee members vote by private ballot and are not told they have to adhere to anything.
Correct.
They are provided all of this information. They do not have to adhere to any of it.
So I get back to my original point. If they had just said eye test, we got nothing. The critics who, and I said this before, it ain't a miscarriage of justice, John Rothstein. Sorry, it is not. It's not felonious. They were close, obvious. I actually think that they were probably in the field before the ACC tournament. I think North Carolina was probably inside the field before. And I surmise that their 7 games they played against the 1 and the 2 line, which I asked, we have Jerry Palm on like almost every week once we get into February. And I said almost every week to Jerry, what do you think the impact is of Carolina playing potentially 7 games against the 1s and the 2s? And he goes, nothing. You're not beating any of them. And I'm like, okay, I'm just asking the question because I believe it mattered, right? The reality is they were only 1-5 against the other teams in the quad 1. But I do think that had they scheduled normally, as opposed to what they did, that they probably would have had a better resume. But again, I just say, just give me the eye test. If it works in football, why can't it work in basketball?
Again, as you continue to overcomplicate the process with more information, you are actually making it less scientific.
What is a catch? We don't know what a catch is in football. We don't. I have rules, and the rules don't make it any easier. Get rid of your rules.
Did you know that we've changed the college targeting rule in each of the off seasons for the last 4 years?
No. Have we?
Like the
really?
the actual language of it. This rules committee cycle, they are not touching it. But this is the first time, I'm kid you not, really in the last 3 to 4 years, that something, whether it's like launching or crown or like there has been some language that has been changed to the targeting rule almost every year. So how do we know what targeting is? I don't know. What's our software update? What are we on OS 12.1.3 now on targeting?
I don't even know. I keep getting notices for another update. I just updated it. I just updated my whatever my Chrome something is. I just updated it. I don't need to do that again, do I?
Yeah, I don't. I think it is. I tell you what. That last night is not sustainable. There is going to be a regression, but what a statement.
Oh, Gary Parrish, by the way, was on, I don't know where he was. I guess he was on CBS Sports HQ or something last night. And what he said was right. Everything that happens once the tournament begins doesn't have anything to do with who deserved to get in, because teams advance out of 14 seed, out of 15 seeds all the time. So what happens in the tournament is a standalone. With that said, and I said this all leading up to the tournament, if Carolina gets in, they're winning games.
Oh, sorry, that's to tie it back. When I said it doesn't matter and I was just kind of laughing, I wasn't laughing it off. I was saying it doesn't matter because in reality, once these games start, the conversation is over.
Oh, it's over. We're done.
That yelling about the bracket and snubs is like a routine part of the way that the NCAA tournament news cycle goes. And then you get games and everybody forgets. And then we have to actually move forward with the games.
We're not going to forget because North Carolina was the team that put that on San Diego State last night. They're favored over Ole Miss, Chip.
Because guess what? Because odds makers use Ken Palm too.
Well, that's kind of how they do it, right?
Efficiency metrics. They were 36th in the net. Efficiency ties into that. All these, they have been a more efficient team slightly. Favored by if North Carolina favored by 1.5 against Ole Miss is relatively even, with probably a half point or market nod to the fact that North Carolina is just going to be like, "Go," and attract a little bit of attention as it is. Yep. So,
what do the Chipolytics say?
Oh yeah, I think Sweet 16's on the table.
100%. And because, and I will say this, because when they get to the Sweet 16. And they will likely see Michigan State there. I keep saying, isn't Carolina versus Michigan State kind of a given?
I think
Tar Heels always win that game.
I know Tar Heels always win that game, but the matchup there is where I personally stopped short in my own bracket.
I understand.
Just like
I think I did too, by the way.
Yeah, waves and waves of big men that Michigan State can throw at North Carolina that would cause a lot of problems. And in the same way that Izzo badly wanted to beat Coach K in 2019, man, he would love to be able to take this team, which is one of the best teams he's had maybe since 2019, and be able to knock North Carolina out. Now, that said, North Carolina fans across this unprecedented statewide program, statewide platform, I want to ask a question.
Sure.
At what point do you think you considered what that Duke North Carolina title game is going to look like?
It'll be epic. It'll be epic. Well, could Duke go 4-0?
I know it's hard to beat a team 4 times.
That is very hard.
Say.
Very hard to beat a team 4 times.
and what would that do to the rivalry? And if Duke wins, is that revenge for Coach K?
Well,
I don't know.
I thought the rivalry was over, Chip. I was told so many times that the rivalry was over. It's not over. It's never going to be over. All right.
Well, it's also the fact that the Withers wobble, also playing a part in the whole story arc of all this. Good stuff.
But credit to North, that comeback on Friday night was amazing. It was just absolutely amazing. Full marks for getting up off the mat, because they could have gone away. When Monologue hits the 3 to make it 52-28 with like 2 minutes gone in the second half. Like, that could have been over. Mm-hmm. And they dug in, so good for them. All right, can you tell us, Chipolytics, who you've got in the Final Four and cutting them down?
Yeah, I've got Duke, Tennessee, Michigan State, Florida, with Blue Devils over the Gators in the title game.
All right, I've got Duke, Tennessee, Florida. Who's Michigan? Michigan State's against Auburn, right?
Auburn.
I think I have Michigan State as well. And who do you have in the title game again?
Duke over Florida.
Did you steal my bracket?
We're not really.
You're right. We're not splitting the atom here.
Yeah. I don't. You know what I've been calling Tennessee? Tennessee's a 1.5 seed. we have 5 1 seeds this year. And Tennessee's right up there. So.
All right, I'll ask this question. I asked this same exact question to a good friend and former champion golf partner of ours. So you might be able to figure out who this is. Rory McIlroy wins the Masters by 5, 3, or 1. That's the question.
1. It cannot be easy. Too many demons. It's got to be hard.
But I appreciate you just humored me by answering the question as I asked it.
How's Alec doing? Or Will? I don't know.
It was Alec. Yeah.
And Alex said 5?
He said 3.
Okay. All right. Shout out to Alec.
Phenomenal. You're the best, man. I appreciate your time. Chip Patterson, as always, on Wednesdays. Cover 3 podcast moderator. We didn't even talk football. You wrote a whole thing about the 5 ACC teams who could be in the college football playoff. That's going to have to wait for next week.
Well, I mean, it was really lazy journalism. I was pushing back. You want to know why?
Yes, why?
Because there's not 5 teams that can make the college football playoff in the ACC.
There's one.
The assignment was no. I can stand and I can make a case for 4. But when I had to go to 5, your choices are like Florida State and Georgia Tech.
Why not just go North Carolina if Bill Belichick can balance his girlfriend on his legs?
So
on the beach. I don't get that photo.
That is the caliber of team that we are talking about when you're trying to fill out a top 5 means your 5th spot is Florida State, Georgia Tech, or North Carolina. Yeah. I mean, even SMU and Louisville, I'm like, yeah, well, they're not going to make it as an at-large, but maybe they win the conference. Right. There's 2 teams that can make it as an at-large. There's 2 more that could potentially win the conference. And then
there's another team.
That's what it is. Right, I tell you what, I did write a spring questions piece that I think is still somewhere on the site. Like it's got Carson Beck, I think, and 1 spring question for every ACC team, writing 3,600 words about 17 ACC teams in the middle of conference tournament week nearly broke my brain. I was talking about Pat Kelsey and what he can do for the development of Miller Moss. I was out here to talk about Bill Belichick's quad 1 wins. I was losing my mind out there, Adam, but I do think that's probably a more comprehensive look top to bottom at the conference.
We'll get to it. I will not let your hard work go unrewarded. That's Chip Patterson. I'll talk to you next week, man.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
Fantastic. Oh, man. All right, we got a break. When we come back, in one-timers, but we've already done one-timers. As we stretch, we have to place bets. But as we stretch, I have a menu that will make you full just to listen to it. Full. I may never eat again, having just read the menu. Next.
From the heels,
touchdown Carolina,
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
It's okay not to be okay. Feelings of loneliness, anger, and worry are completely normal, and you're not alone. If you need help coping, call, text, or chat the free 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Someone is always there to talk, day or night. Together, we will find the care that works for you. Just call, text, or chat 988 anytime to talk to a trained counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to other resources that can help. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Going to college gives you more career options. You could say it pays for itself, but it might not feel that way in the short term, especially when tuitions do. That's where the FAFSA comes in. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. It's your gateway to money for college. Whether you're seeking scholarships, grants, work-study programs, or loans, it all starts with the FAFSA. So how about it? Make a plan for college and find everything you need for the FAFSA at cfnc.org.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Dear North Carolina, for 70 incredible years, you've been by our side. From Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to the wonders of Antiques Roadshow, from This Old House to NC Weekend, we've explored, learned, and grown together. Because of your support, PBS North Carolina has gone beyond the screen, inspiring, educating, and entertaining in classrooms, at home, and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Your background may not include agriculture, but 2 years at the Agricultural Institute will prepare you for a career in it. Whether you are a military veteran with an arsenal of skills, kickstarting your second career, or about to graduate high school, the Agricultural Institute at NC State University is the right place for you. Nurture your passion and find your career. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt-putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here. We're going to place bets in a moment. I'm 1-0 in the NCAA tournament. Go Heels. The Tar Heels to win, R.J. Davis to have at least 2 threes was the plus 150 action that we had yesterday. So, way to go. I just want to read quickly from my Twitter timeline. Charlie. Adam keeps acting like every other metric doesn't count. WAB, net, KenPom, BPI, 8-2 last 10. By the way, committee can't look at last 10. 7 of 12 losses to the top 2 seeds. Specifically mention it constantly. That the shouldn't be there people speak in absolutes. Forget about what he said about Indiana. I can't remember making a case for Indiana, but you be you. Charlie, here was the response. This may or may not have been me. Charlie pretends that Adam said things he didn't. In fact, I implicitly heard Adam say, all of these metrics matter. They're all helpful. Quote, don't make stuff up. I'm begging you. Don't make stuff up. Whatever. Should we just stretch?
Well, people were making some things up about Tracy Morgan, who was sick recently. Did you
see that?
Yes, it's bad. If you have a weak stomach, do not look this up. But yeah, Tracy Morgan, he got sick at a Knicks game.
Well, that
Monday?
happens a lot. Just kidding.
People get
Not as much lately.
Yeah, no, the Knicks.
Not as much
have
lately.
That reaction. I don't know what's going on with basketball and people throwing up in a court, but
right.
It's like it's a theme now. But yeah, Tracy Morgan, he got sick, and people were speculating, was he drunk? Was it because of a car accident that it was apparently really bad and he had a lot of surgery to his face, and maybe that... No, actually, it's food poisoning. It's food poisoning. So I don't know what kind of food.
Honestly, I don't really care the reason.
I know.
Go home, dude.
I know.
Just go home.
You didn't feel it like, obviously with food poisoning, sometimes you, like, feel stuff, and it's like...
Have you ever had it? Have you ever had food poisoning?
I don't know.
Okay. I've had it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you.
It hits you fast?
No.
No, okay.
No, you know, go. It's a slow move.
Oh.
Right? It's a slow...
See, even worse.
Yeah, it's a slow... But, so, he should have known something was up.
He's walking on
That's
thin
why
ice.
I'm not necessarily buying food poisoning.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but no. Food
Maybe
poisoning...
not.
Food poisoning, it starts in other areas first.
Yeah,
so I'll just
exactly.
Leave it at that. I'll just leave it at
mean, but he was in a terrible spot, too, because he was right beside the desk with the analyst and the laptops are everywhere.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah. So that picture's never going away. But, yeah, so he recently posted a picture of himself not barfing, but in a hospital, saying, quote, appreciate my MSG family for taking good care of me. I need to shout out the crew that had to clean that up. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. That's awful. So yeah, he was also wheelchaired out, and people were talking about his bloody nose, like maybe that was a problem. I don't know. But yeah, food poisoning. Quote, food poisoning. So there you go. Yeah. Now, hopefully you won't get food poisoning for this. I read this article and thought you might be pleased to hear that Sargento is finally making real cheese.
What?
Actual cheese. That's what they're calling this. Actual cheese. I know.
Sargento wasn't making real cheese?
That's kind of what I thought, too, because I was thinking
Wait a second.
Were making the real cheese. I know. So here's the news.
Quite an admission.
Here's the news. So American cheese, the sliced cheese, that's kind of questionable cheese. Well, that's because with ingredients, the FDA want you to have 5 or less ingredients in them to be, quote, cheese. Like,
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to use cheese product or cheese food, which the other ones have had to do. But now they have cracked the code, which apparently has taken them 10 years to do this. So they can call it, quote, natural American cheese that only has 5 ingredients instead of like 9 or more. And it took them 10 years to get the taste and for it to melt like American cheese. I'm so put off by all of this.
I can't even have a conversation about it now.
Oh, why are we not having real cheese? Why is Sargento lying to us all and not having real cheese? But now, supposedly, as of yesterday, it hit grocery stores, and we can have real FDA cheese from Sargento. Maybe we could buy it from the bets that we make.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, I'll do the menu thing in the top of the 2 o'clock hour.
That's
because
right,
no, it's fine. We have wagering to do.
Yeah.
So you start. I told you. I'm already 1-0 in the tournament.
Oh, there you go.
Go Heels.
It's perfect. I know. I predicted the score yesterday, and it's funny. I predicted 68 for San Diego, but I predicted 75 for UNC. Hey, it's 20 off. But today, it's all on the ice again. The Colorado Avalanche are going to be in Toronto taking on the Maple Leafs. I think this is going to be an Avs night. Maybe Martin Necas will score a goal. But give me the Avs to win. And you know what? I'll take the under 6.5. It's plus 200.
See, I'm going the other way. Toronto, fellas.
Yeah, I know.
Get it together.
Yeah.
Because not only are you going to finish third right now, Ottawa is right behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Leafs at home under 6.5. It's wait a second. I don't know what I added some other things to this here. I have another wager. Never mind. I'll get to that in a minute. Plus 239.
Oh, there you go. Well, and I already said it. I think Martin Necas might score. So give me him anytime goal scorer. He's plus 95.
All right, I'll give you two winners tonight. American beats Mount St. Mary's. Xavier beats Texas. I know Texas has won like 7 quad 1 games. But Xavier isn't a quad 1 game. Actually, they are, but barely. So give me American and Xavier to win. That's plus 253.
Okay, well, in the other game, NHL game, the Kraken are going to be in Minnesota taking on the Wild. Give me the Wild to win this one, and maybe they'll go Wild today and be over 5.5, so that's plus 195.
All right, I'm going to give you a winner at this week's PGA Tour event. Give me Sam Burns at the Valspar. It's plus 2,200. Sam Burns at the Valspar. All right, when we come back, it is a tradition unlike any other. Stuffing your face at Augusta. I have the menu. Next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Let me tell you how many times I have saved thousands of dollars by not paying closing costs by going to Miller Lending for all of my mortgage needs. I refinanced the first home I bought in Raleigh. I bought it before I knew Gordon. I refinanced that twice, lowered my monthly payment each time to the point where I was paying almost nothing. Well, not really, but it was a lot less than I was paying. And I didn't pay closing costs either time. Then we bought a house, another house, and I used Miller Lending for that one. And then we refied that like 3 times. And I lowered my monthly payment each time. And we've bought another house. And I've refied that twice with Miller. Miller Lending. 11 times I have used Gordon Miller's original no closing cost mortgage option where I don't pay closing costs and I save all that money. You could do it too. MillerLending.com. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime. And Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Yes.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Growing up in Sanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at $119 and take $20 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResRaleigh.com and say you want the $99.9 The Fan special.
Are you in charge of running the building maintenance plays at your workplace? If you're facing roofing issues, you gotta get RoofWorks into the game. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. You can count on us to be your MVP when it comes to taking care of your commercial building roof. We handle leaky roof repair, coatings, total replacements, upfits, and we even do commercial gutters. Let us show you what a valuable addition we are to your building maintenance team. Contact us today online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Davis, one crossover, 2 mile-long Tripp. Oh, are you kidding me? That was from downtown Cincinnati. Back out to Bird. Gets deep on the right, taken away by Cadeau. Carolina on the run. Cadeau, long pitch ahead. Great catch, man. Finished by Trimble. Timeout, San Diego State. Cadeau spins by his defender off the glass with the left hand. Are you kidding me? Trimble, hangs in the air. Take that, Dayton. We're first in flight. Trimble bangs it in for 2.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here. You know, Major League Baseball opened their season.
Let's not talk about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Cubs losing to the Dodgers.
Twice.
They're in Japan. Shohei Ohtani homered.
Yep.
It's not a surprise. Did he pitch also or no? I honestly don't know.
See, I woke up to updates yesterday morning,
Okay.
and I didn't like what I saw, so I didn't look too deep into it.
Gotcha. Totally understand.
Yeah. But, hey, Shota, he had a good time going back with
Okay.
Ohtani, so that's our pitcher, Cubs pitcher.
There you go.
So there's that.
Shohei Ohtani's good. All right. Before we get to the Wall of Sound, it is a tradition unlike any other. The Masters, which we are, there are 3 tournaments in between where we are today and the Masters. Valspar, which is it's in the Tampa area, is this week. And then they go to Houston, then San Antonio, then the Masters. I think the Masters is the week after the Final Four. So, and I joked with Chip, how many shots is Rory McIlroy going to win by? Either way, and if he ever wins the Masters, so next year, Rory will get to make the menu. It is a tradition that for the Champions Dinner, which is the Tuesday of Masters Week, it is a dinner for champions of the Masters only, and the past champion, the most recent champion, creates the menu. Whatever he wants on the menu is on the menu. So, for the second time in the last 3 years, Scotty Scheffler has crafted the menu. Now, if this sounds like the menu of the 2023 Masters, it's because it's almost identical. But either way, it's worth reading. So there are appetizers, and there are 2 appetizers, Victoria. We have cheeseburger sliders.
Hopefully with real cheese. Now Sargento, maybe.
Good point. Good point. Had not considered it. Cheeseburger sliders with Scotty served Scotty style, it says.
Oh.
I don't know what that means. Firecracker shrimp with sweet Thai chili and sriracha mayo.
I'm down. I like a spicy sweet.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the 2 appetizers.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a Papa Chef, which I'm going to guess is either Scheffler's father or grandfather. Papa Chef's meatball ravioli bites.
Okay.
With pecorino cheese and tomato basil sauce.
Interesting.
Those are the 3 appetizers.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Many options.
We got 3 appetizers.
Mm-hmm.
Then the first course is Texas-style chili.
Oh, okay.
That's a course.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need anything else. But wait, there's more.
Oh, boy.
The main course is your choice. Get one or the other. Although I'm sure if you ask, you could get both. Wood-fired cowboy ribeye. Delicious.
Oh, I'm sure.
Or blackened redfish. Also very good.
Yeah.
Also very good.
On the lighter side.
Exactly. Then we have sides.
Oh,
Family style macaroni and cheese.
Oh, I love mac and cheese.
Jalapeno creamed corn. On the low, that sounds pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Soy glazed Brussels sprouts. I'm also into that.
Mm-hmm.
Chipotle lime roasted sweet potatoes.
Ooh.
It's a lot of sides, and I like all of
I know.
I'm not a mac and cheese person, but that's fine. All the other stuff I like. We have dessert, too.
Wow.
I can't move.
How?
I haven't eaten anything.
What are they doing to these
and
people?
now I can't move. Like, there are old people who have conditions.
Right.
For dessert, a warm chocolate chip skillet cookie served with vanilla bean ice cream.
Dangerous.
Yeah. So that's your chance. I can't move.
What? How? Who? How? So many questions. Are you doing anything after this?
This
that's
is like
a straight
Thanksgiving.
I know. That's more food than I'd probably eat on Thanksgiving. It's like food coma time after that.
It's an awesome menu.
Wow.
Good
Do you have
for-
like a bite of each thing?
That's what happens.
You just need like a bite of each one.
Like, no joke, on Thanksgiving, because there are things I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I eliminate, like, there's 4 things at this table that I am not having.
Yeah, priorities.
Yeah, I'm not
There's
having
only
that.
so much room.
Just can't do it. Sometimes that's turkey.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
nope, I ain't doing turkey.
That's the least exciting part.
I can have turkey. I'll have turkey with the sandwiches later.
Exactly.
All right. Let's do the wall of sound.
Now I'm hungry.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
I love when the Masters menus come out.
Man,
Absolutely love it.
They're so fancy. And it's always fun to see their names. The named dishes that they have.
Tremendous. All right. I want to start with the Field of 68. That's Jeff Goodman and Rob Doster. Rod was on the show last week. Goodman has been on the show, I don't know, dozens of times. So they have flooded the zone with college basketball videos. They're on every day, sometimes twice a day. They have a lot of people doing stuff. And in this video, you're going to hear Randolph Childress, Wake Forest star, who also works for ESPN and the ACC network as an analyst. Was a coach at Wake Forest for a while. And you'll hear from Jeff Goodman. Now, in the background, you'll hear a little bit maybe of Tyler Hansborough, who was on this video, and John Fanta, who is one of their Field of 68 people. But this is primarily Childress and Goodman, and this is during the game, midway through the second half. And we pick up Randolph here.
Talk your talk, Tyler. Don't let them off that easy, Tyler. But everybody, no. But let me say this: everybody's right. You wasn't supposed to get in. Not over Indiana or West Virginia. That's just facts. But now that you're in, go ACC. Don't talk that trash to me. I don't want to hear that. Y'all knew this was gonna happen when the ACC got in, Fanta. I want to hear your gibberish when you get on here because you talked all that trash. Now, again, I will say they weren't supposed to be in over a couple other teams, but they're in. So I don't care. This is what happens when you let us in. You let the league in, no matter what the numbers are, and that's the kind of stuff.
All right, we don't even need any more, because that's true. I don't know what it is, but facts is facts, and the Atlantic Coast Conference has performed way beyond what the experts have anticipated year after year after year after year. Miami went to the Final Four, right? NC State went to the Final Four last year. North Carolina and Duke went however many years ago. I think there's a chance that Clemson goes to the Final Four this year. I ain't kidding. No way am I kidding. I think there is a chance that the Clemson Tigers are in the Final Four. How is that going to play? How is that going to play on college basketball platforms all over America if Duke and Clemson are in the Final Four and Carolina gets to the Elite Eight? Because it could happen. Just saying. I'll leave it at that. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. All right, let's skip to the bottom here because Sean Nahas, who is the head coach of the North Carolina Courage, is going to join us in a little bit. And then we'll get back to basketball with Brian Geisinger because we should talk about the Tar Heels and Duke in the NCAA tournament. So, Pierre LeBrun. The Hurricanes have now won 7 in a row. We all know they have tons of cap room in the offseason. Tons. Probably in the neighborhood of $35 million of cap space and not a lot of players to go out and get. So Pierre LeBrun of TSN and The Athletic on what Carolina might be into in free agency.
I mean, if Mitch Marner does go to market July 1st, I would expect the Hurricanes to be one of the teams at least finding out if they can be on his list because they tried to trade for him, as we know. That's been reported. So it's fascinating from that point of view. but also in terms of Carolina saying, hey, we're contenders right now.
All right, real quick about Marner. I would be stunned if Marner doesn't stay in Toronto. Stunned if he doesn't stay there. I don't think Carolina is going to be a major player in free agency. They could. I think it is more likely that anything they do is through a trade. But I think there's a lot that they could do. Specifically, I'm not going to give you because I don't know. But I don't see them. I mean, they might make a play for Mitch Marner, and they might be willing to pay him $13 million a year. But I don't see him not being with the Leafs. He turned down a trade because he doesn't want to leave Toronto. And I bet they find the money. All right, Victoria, we'll get a break. When we come back, Sean Nahas, who is the head coach of the North Carolina Courage, they are home to Seattle Reign on Saturday. Hopefully, Seattle won't bring that. I don't want rain.
No. Well, we might need it with pollen, but yeah, we don't want rain.
It doesn't do much. Sean Nahas next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Kevin Keatts fired as head coach of the NC State men's basketball team. Regardless of what you think of Coach Keatts, good coach, bad coach, indifferent, the next coach, their success relies on better financial support. NC State just hasn't had the NIL funds to compete for an ACC championship every year, and that has to change.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Adam Gold here from my friends at X Golf and Carry, the premier indoor golf experience in the Triangle. And coming up on Saturday, March 22nd from 12 to 3, I will be out there and we are going to be having a great time, just like everybody's been having there for about a year. That's right, a year, a celebration. Great golf, great games, great prizes, PGA Pro on site. We're going to have so much fun, you're going to want to pinch yourself or something. PlayXGolf.com/carry. 12 to 3, Saturday. See you there.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before. Oh, yeah! Big money! Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instance for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Everything for the exterior of your home, but it's also everything for the peace of mind of the customer. Talk to me about the trust factor and everything else that you guys offer.
I got to tell you, I think one of the biggest things for us is we don't take any payment from you for any of your home improvement needs until we're done with the project. I hear stories all the time about people putting down deposits with companies, 25, 50% of the project total overall, and they don't even know, they don't show up.
Right.
You've lost whatever percentage you put down, that's how much power you lost already. Right?
Right.
So with us, you pay nothing until we're done. Typically we're not the least expensive and we're certainly not the most expensive. You get 3 or 4 estimates, we're going to fall right there in the middle. But, you're going to have a warranty that's lifetime, transferable for 10 years on any of the products we sell typically. And we've been around since 1961. You can trust us. We've been around forever.
It is about trust. And I think you guys are the most trustworthy business that I know. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Gold. Gold.
Some of the best trades ever made are the ones you don't make. Again, I'm sure that there are tons of stories like that.
Kind of like a relationship. Sometimes the best ones are the ones that you didn't go out with, like that person that you tried to, and then you see them 10 years later and you're like, ooh, dodged a bullet.
So you sound like you've been there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. There was an interesting story that I saw, and I haven't necessarily fleshed it out yet, that the league that the NCFC, North Carolina FC, play in right now they're playing the USL Championship, which is the highest level of USL professional soccer in the U.S., that they are going to flip to a system of promotion and relegation. In order to do that successfully, you really need 3 levels of professional soccer to do it. And remember, anything that we do here, MLS is going to be separate from. So Major League Soccer right now is going to operate just like our other major professional sports, Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, like all of that. They don't have promotion and relegation. Now, I have been told by soccer people that that is the true way to guarantee that the soccer gets better. Now, nobody has explained it to me in such a way that tells me why that is the case. They just say it, and I'm just not sure that's true. I'm not saying it's false. It just doesn't make logical sense to me. I think teams are trying to win. Now, maybe it's a little different trying to win versus trying to not get demoted. Those are 2 different things. So, and we do have it in the ecosystem of European football or even South America, where we have promotion and relegation. It is an incredibly exciting, tension-filled, anxiety-ridden part of the season. When you get to the end of a season, this is a bad example of it in the Premier League this year, because right now Liverpool at the top is, what are they, 12 points clear with no, there's no matches in hand. I think everybody's even. They're 12 points clear with 9 matches to play. Now, I'm not saying it's done, because it isn't done, but it kind of looks it. And at the bottom, I think Wolves are like 8 or 9 points clear of the relegation zone with 9 matches to play. So it looks like those 2 elements, we know who's going to win, and we pretty much know who's getting relegated. So those dramatic moments of the 38-match season, those are kind of gone. But in most years, it's not. And those are, man, when you're talking about a fight for your top division survival and the money that goes with that, ooh, that is some fingernail biting time. It will be interesting if we get that in USL. Again, nobody has ever proven to me why that's how you get the best soccer, other than they've got it, therefore we should have it. That could be right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying logically it doesn't make great sense to me. Either way, we'll keep an eye out for that. But it hasn't. I don't think it has gone final just yet. Also, real quick before we get into some other things, if I have paid as an owner, if I have paid a franchise fee, an expansion fee of whatever it is to get into Major League Soccer, and you tell me after 1 year, this is why it's hard for me to see it going to MLS. If you had told me after 1 year or 2 years that I was getting relegated to a lower division and I paid, I don't know, $400 million to buy in, you can miss me with your relegation. I'm trying to win. So don't tell me I've got to go down and then fight my way to get back up because I've paid all this money to get in. That is just the system that we have existed with in Europe for over 100 years. And the same thing with South America. So I get it. It's already an existing system. But after you're selling and creating franchises out of nowhere, I can't see that flying in Major League Soccer. I just can't. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Brian Geisinger is going to join us. We'll get his take on the Tar Heels. We'll look ahead to Duke as well on The Adam Gold Show.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We are knee-deep in March. The month is crazy. Some even call it mad. Time for your college basketball promo of the week. You can get a share of $1 million in bonus bets if you bet on the lowest winning seed of the day. That's an upset you will not be upset about. See what I did there? FanDuel. Best place to bet on the tournament, FanDuel.com/AGS. Download America's #1 sports book today. FanDuel.com/AGS. It's a dog of the day. You will be happy you did it. In March, anything can happen. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Winning pre-live moneyline wager on lowest seed required. Each $1 million jackpot to be split equally among all eligible winners. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people age 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/aging to find your county's ombudsman.
From the mountains mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Dear North Carolina, for 70 incredible years, you've been by our side. From Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to the wonders of Antiques Roadshow, from This Old House to NC Weekend, we've explored, learned, and grown together. Because of your support, PBS North Carolina has gone beyond the screen, inspiring, educating, and entertaining in classrooms, at home, and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Was the hug because of the soft, fuzzy thing you're wearing?
It's a comment. I'm a great hugger. People like to hug me. So, but yes, it's helpful when I'm soft and fuzzy.
Is that a skill?
It may be, yes.
I think it is a skill.
I think it is a skill.
Yeah.
You know who else gives really great hugs? Mike Meniscalco.
Really?
He is one of my favorite huggers. Yes. Every time I see him, he gives the best hugs.
I'm going to try that at the next home game.
Do it.
The Adam Gold Show.
All right, what happened last night? Nobody better to analyze that. Look ahead as well. Our friend, the basketball brain himself, Brian Geisinger. Split the action on Substack. We should do that, all of us. All right, let's get right to it, sir. North Carolina opened up a can on San Diego State last night, and it was almost from the very beginning after they stopped turning it over the first, 4, 5, 6 possessions. Mm-hmm. And then the 3-ball just went crazy. I don't know, what did they make their first 4 or 5? They were, 7 out of 9 in the first half. Is it that simple? They just shot the ball so well?
Not quite, but I do think it speaks to something that I've talked about with UNC throughout the year. One of the reasons why I felt like you could never write them off was that they just have there's like elite shot makers and guards on the roster. I mean,
Right.
RJ Davis is an all-time ACC shooter, especially for at the guard position, and a veteran too. And Ian Jackson's an NBA prospect. He hit a couple of threes last night too. He didn't play a ton of minutes, but hit several threes. And I mean, he's been, I would say, like a little up and down for them this season, but his ability to shoot off the catch and the step back three, pretty special. And then the biggest sort of like development for them the back third of the season has been Jalen Withers really coming online as a stretch piece in the front court to have really help complement all the guards that this team has. And all of a sudden, like once you have that the taller forward that can step out and hit shots like that, well, then it also opens things up for the pick and roll with Van Allen Lubin. And like that's the thing that he does best as an offensive player, right? Like he's not a low post target in the way that someone like Armando Bacot was, but he's athletic and he can rim run and get downhill, and then that also helps open up things in the pick and roll for either Cadeau, or it helps open up stuff on the weak side for guys like Davis and Jackson too. So I think having that stretch shooting component with Withers has really like added a breath of fresh air to the offense. But yeah, ultimately, like this is what you can do even against elite defenses. Like good offense will beat good defense if you have shot makers like that. And so I'm not totally surprised with what happened. And I've sort of been all season long, I've kind of thought that this UNC team was probably better than maybe the record or resume would have indicated, because they have some high end offensive talent and I think a pretty good offensive coach too in Hubert Davis.
Brian Geisinger is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. Tar Heels won by $1 billion last night. They had a lead of, I believe, 40 at one point. I've said the same thing over the last several weeks, and there are two topics of discussion here, one of which you and I are not going to get into, whether or not they deserved a spot in the field. But I have been saying for weeks that if they get in, they're going to win games. I promised I would bet them to get to the Sweet 16, and I believe they will get to the Sweet 16. Defensively, they were really good last night. And I think that triggered everything. It got their offense going and all of that. Now, San Diego State is the worst was the worst offensive at-large team. They were one of the worst offensive teams in the entire field, regardless, automatic or at-large bid. I think they ranked 58th in offense out of the 68 teams. But their defense did look good. How does that translate to Ole Miss on Friday, and then potentially, I'm thinking, Iowa State coming up on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, look, I know San Diego State not a good offensive team, but UNC did a number on Miles Byrd last night.
Yeah,
Miles Bird's an NBA player, So I mean, I mean, I know it's not maybe a collective, not an elite offense, but I would absolutely say like a really good offensive piece that had probably one of his worst games of the season last night against UNC. Ole Miss, it's interesting. This is a super old team. I mean, it's like sort of in the way that a lot of the SEC is. Like this is a veteran ball club, strong on both sides of the court. You'll recognize like plenty former ACC players in the lineup: Trey Davis, Jamin Brakefield, Sean Padula, who's the point guard at Virginia Tech the last few seasons. Matthew Morrell didn't train. He's just been around there for 5 years. But it's like a lot of veteran players and a team that really emphasizes taking care of the ball and just kind of beating you with a collective offensively too. So I think it's a team that if UNC can take away the middle of the floor, take away the paint. I mean, this is an offense that I do think UNC can like hold in check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, one of the reasons why Withers coming online like helps them out on both sides of the court is allows them to get multiple shooters offensively while keeping some size on the floor. And just like if you've been seeing Drake Powell down the stretch of the season, like he's turned into a really good physical, not just like an agitator, but with because he's got great size and athletic tools too. So I really quite like the matchup against Ole Miss, which is a team that I think has felt like a little wobbly throughout the season. Iowa State's really good, and I mean you don't have to I guess go too far back. I guess they didn't play against UNC out in Maui, but Iowa State, really good offensive team. I do like Joshua Jefferson, their forward, quite a bit. Deshaun Jackson, the big guy who transferred in from Charlotte, gives him some size and some rim running game. But neither of these are offenses that are just on like something like Duke's caliber,
right.
or Auburn's caliber, So it's like they're very good. These are top 20 offenses in the country, so they'll be a challenge. And I do like Iowa State from like an X and O perspective, but certainly like defense is the thing that drives it for them. So two fascinating matchups. I mean, I'm sure Iowa State will be favored if that is in fact the matchup, but my guess would be that Ole Miss and UNC is projected to be a pretty close game, would be my estimation for later this week.
Look, I think the Tar Heels have beaten Ole Miss and Iowa State without, Keyshawn Gilbert. So they have some injury issues. I like the Tar Heels to advance there. Then you get the annuity game against Michigan State. Don't they always beat Michigan State? Like if North Carolina was in the Elite Eight, I'm just not going to be surprised. And I said
they didn't beat them. Well, they didn't beat them earlier this year.
Yeah, but they needed double overtime, right? Was it?
Yeah.
We needed extra time.
Yeah, I don't think Jace Richardson played in that game for Michigan State. Your point is taken, though. But yes, there's lots of history between the two, and UNC has had a lot of success. So,
all right, let me go on to Duke before we have to say goodbye to Brian Geisinger. Split the action on Substack at bgeis_bird on Twitter. All right, so the Blue Devils managed without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown to win the ACC tournament. How much of their offense, and we're going to get Cooper Flagg back, whether he plays Friday against whoever they play or he plays Sunday against whoever they play, he's going to come back. But how different was their offense really? Did they just slide Con Knippel into a number 2 jersey and basically do just about everything they do with Cooper with Knippel?
Well, it's interesting. I was doing a little research on looking into these numbers a little bit earlier today. And look, in the 105 minutes that Cooper was not on the court in Charlotte, so that includes the Georgia Tech game too.
Right.
Duke's offense scored 122 points per 100 possessions, which is an elite number. And look, they did that. They didn't shoot like a crazy number on threes. They only shot 50% from deep. I mean, they took a ton of them, but like I think 45, 46% of their shots in Charlotte were threes without Cooper, and that's right in line with their season-long average in terms of the three-point attempt rate. They got to the line a lot, and they had a 45% free throw attempt rate in the ACC tournament without Cooper on the court. And Kahn took 24 free throws down in Charlotte. He made 22 of them. So yes, they oriented the offense around Kahn. And he was amazing driving the ball. Like, they really got it downhill. They shot 61% on twos in this game, and a lot of that damage came at the rim. I think one of the things that is like a little interesting in some of those lineups is, look, all season long, Duke has really started to trend away from taking so many mid-range. They've taken fewer and fewer mid-range shots over each season under John Shire. This season, they've taken very little. The one guy who really does take a decent amount of shots from the mid-range is Cooper.
Right.
So without him in the lineup, pretty much everything for Duke was at the rim, or it was at a three. I mean, almost half their shots were coming from beyond the arc, and another third of them were coming from right at the rim. So you put Kahn in the playmaking role. You get maybe even more. I mean, it's like less overall talent and playmaking skill, obviously without Cooper, but allows you to play more minutes with someone like Isaiah Evans. So you've got, 4 guards and shooters around, Kaman Malawach or Pat Gongba, who played great down in Charlotte. Both those guys played well, I thought. And Pat does a nice job sort of like making up for the loss of Malik's, front court playmaking, because Malik's, they run so much of their offense through him at the high post when he's in there.
Right.
And Gongba gives them some of that too. So I would say, it was their ability they took even fewer mid-range shots, and they drove it. They got downhill, and I thought Duke's staff also did a good job sort of like moving the chess pieces around. And you saw them going to more of these staggered actions on the sides of the floor with Kahn and Isaiah, and sort of playing those guys off of one another. And Kahn was just, man-possessed, driving the ball, curling off screens, getting downhill. Really impressive stuff to, I think, make a couple of tweaks to the offense, but kind of keep the base structure in place. So, very impressive. But certainly you want number 2 back on the floor for Duke for the stretch run here.
It should be fun. Have you filled out a bracket?
No, I have not filled out a bracket yet. The way I tend to do it, I've been doing this with my godfather up in Michigan since I was a little kid, and we go round by round filling them out.
Okay.
So I actually kind of like that, because then a clunker of a first round doesn't totally throttle you a little bit. So I have not filled out a bracket. I probably will between. But wanted to probably see some of the first 4 action before I actually put pen to paper here.
Gotcha. All right, Tar Heels to the Elite 8. That is Brian Geisinger. I mean, they could do it. They could
definitely do it. I mean, one game at a time, obviously.
Oh, no, I'm thinking I'm going 4 games at a time. Brian Geisinger, Perfect. Split the action on Twitter. Not on Twitter, on Substack. On Twitter, he is at bgeis_bird. Sir, as always, thank you so much.
Yeah, take care, guys.
All right. The Tar Heels were super impressive yesterday. Have tried not to beat it to a pulp, because we are 3 days removed now from Selection Sunday. We would have probably talked about this and only this on Monday. But I have a lot of bullets in the chamber based on not being here, so I thought, here are my thoughts. And I have absolutely wanted North Carolina to be in the field because, as I have said over and over and over again, I think they're good enough. Whether or not they deserve to be in the field, and deserve is a loaded term because, honestly, none of these teams really deserve it, If you're still sitting here in a 68-team field, having to come up with 37 at-large bids after the automatics, if we're still having this conversation about you, yeah, I'm sorry, you get no complaint. And I don't care how they come up with the field. If they spin a wheel, if they roll dice, if they throw darts, if they hit a piñata, if we put a blindfold on and put a bat on the ground, like the nose of the bat on the ground, put our head on the handle and spin around in a circle and get dizzy, and then try to pin something on mascots. We've all been to minor league baseball, right? We've seen that. I don't care how they do it. If your name didn't come up, it's really hard to make a case that you deserved anything. With that said, I'm feeling for you, West Virginia. I'm feeling for you. Again, that doesn't mean it would be at the expense of North Carolina's bid. But West Virginia's claim to a spot in this field, I think, is significantly better than 3 or 4 teams. And you can take my word for it if you want. Or you can head to the Googles and simply look it up for yourself. But if this is the best way to do it. If I gave you these numbers and said this was North Carolina, 2-3 versus the top 10, wins over Gonzaga and Iowa State, 4-6 combined over the top 25, 6-7 against the top 50, 13-12 against the top 100, 25 of their 30-some-odd games against top 100 teams. And they were 13-12. Same grouping of teams, albeit no overlap. Carolina was 6-13. If we flipped and Carolina had that resume and didn't get a bid, literally, people would have just given birth. They would have lost their minds, and you would be justified. Absolutely justified. I'd be here going, yeah, you have every right to be mad. And again, that doesn't mean Carolina's got to come out. That's not what I'm saying. I thought I put it as easily as I could, as best as I could yesterday. To use the word deserve, the word deserve does a lot of heavy lifting there. They got to select 68. By the way, this year is the greatest example of why we don't need 76. But I'll just say this up front. We all know they're going to expand, and we are going to have the same BS debates over teams 76 and 77. Promise. The same dumb-ass debates over the 77 team and why they got screwed. It's going to happen. We just did it in college football. We just debated whether or not a 3-loss team should get in college football. We sat here for weeks talking about that. And I know there are more metrics than Quad 1, which is why I purposely have not used Quad 1. Purposely. You haven't, like when I just outlined West Virginia's case or North Carolina's resume, I haven't used Quad 1 because in and of itself, Q1 versus Q2 can be skewed. And when you combine the two, they sort of look similar, except that all 8, I shouldn't say all 8 because Carolina beat UCLA, 8 of their 9 wins against those two came against Quad 2 teams. Now, some of those might be okay. I heard Hubert Davis say at the end of the season, making a case for him, well, we played the other 2 best teams in the league on the road only. We didn't get them at our place. I'm like, you're right. But I'm sorry. does that, excuse you from winning the games? And the answer is no. And I mean, you're allowed to win the games. Had they beaten Pitt at Pitt, it's quad one. So that was an opportunity. Not taken. All I'm saying is that North Carolina had plenty of opportunities to win more games and didn't do it, which means that they left themselves to chance. And all I said Tuesday morning, which is what created this, was you didn't deserve anything. You got a bid. And when I watched the selection committee conversations, whether it was CBS or CBS Sportsnet, wherever they were on, there was such a lack of information given and none asked. Yeah, I get it. There are other metrics. There are. We could go through those too. So there is something called win above bubble. And there are a number of metrics that provide a win above bubble. The net has a win above bubble column. And West Virginia and North Carolina are separated by just one. And in the net win above bubble, Carolina is 42 and West Virginia is 43. In Bart Torvik win above bubble, it's the opposite. West Virginia is ranked just ahead of North Carolina. So what we're talking about here is a statistical zero. No difference. None. And doesn't it matter who you beat? Or that you won games? And I'm just saying that, again, this doesn't mean North Carolina's got to come out, but this is the frame. This is how the argument's been framed. We could do the same thing with Texas and the same thing with Xavier, and we'd go, I can see where neither of those teams should be in too. We didn't have to take Texas. Texas didn't have to be in this field, just like North Carolina didn't have to be in this field. And it isn't necessarily about because, well, North Carolina is one of those brands and we have to have North Carolina in. They weren't in last year. I'm pretty sure the tournament survived. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the tournament survived. So enough with the conspiracies, but when the answers are woefully short of actual substance, it allows people to go, well, we know why they're in. Bubba Cunningham got a bonus because Carolina made the tournament. So I made jokes about it. Yeah, all of the other committee members suddenly went on Norwegian cruise line vacations. Bubba treated everybody. Joke. Ha ha. The only real answer should have been from them was that eye test. We watched. You see them. They look great. They flat out look great. Who's going to argue with that? I wouldn't argue with that. I've been saying it. Have they looked great against good teams? No. But they've looked great. What did I say all during the college football season? Why are we pumping up Indiana's tires? And Chip kept saying, because they're blowing these teams out. I guess that mattered. Not the same committee. I was against that then. I think who you play matters. Who you beat matters. I've been a lot more consistent than anybody else. So if the committee had just come out and said, my gosh, have you seen what they're doing to everybody? They're winning these games by 20 points. And they have been. They have been laying waste to bad teams. If they had said that, who's going to argue with that? Now we're not even talking about data and metrics. And the data and the metrics are pretty close. And they should be tiebreakers only if all the other stuff is close. But the other stuff really isn't. All right. I'm done with that. Done with that subject. When we come back, we're already back. Let's get into a rewind. Going to work our way backwards. We're going to start with, this is Tripp Tracy. I remember when the Hurricanes traded for Mikko Rantanen, and he was forced, I believe, held hostage to play with Sebastian Aho and Jackson Blake. And the very savvy Caniac Twitter was all over, get Jackson Blake off the line, which was kind of odd since he was arguably their best player. But whatever. Blake has not scored now in 18 games. No goals in 18. And I'm telling you that I won't even bring it up when I do these types of things in Stormwatch, other than to say, somehow Jackson Blake hasn't scored in 18 games and is still playing great.
Yes.
Because he is.
He is.
And I talked about that with Tripp Tracy.
He's driven whatever line he's been on for the most part. And, I would have needed a lobotomy. The GM meeting's just finished. I know they talked about goalie interference, but, to be able to get to the front of the net and to create the all-important first goal of the game with willingness, determination, and then skill. If, and I thought about it afterwards, John Tortorella, one of the reasons he probably challenged is because he knew what Carolina's power play was at that point.
Right, exactly.
Truthfully. And, but if they had ruled that no goal, I would have needed a lobotomy on the spot. But Jackson Blake created all of it. And so when you and I have the privilege of watching, with the eye test, and you can look at the advanced numbers on a regular basis, take Michkov for Philadelphia. He has figured out, he's a couple of years younger, the grind of the NHL season.
Yeah.
Not just the impact in the playmaking and shooting department, but his growth away from the puck, defensively.
But I do anticipate Svechnikov at some point to rejoin Aho on the top line. Now, does that go Svechnikov, Aho, Jarvis? Or does it go Svechnikov, Aho, Blake, and Jarvis goes to play with Stahl and Martinook? I don't know. I kind of get the sense that Rod wants some size element on that top line, but I also think that he's watched these guys play, and I think is willing to let them go as a trio first, and maybe have Svechnikov with Kokoniemi and Hall. Right now, Kokoniemi, Hall, and Roslovic are the second scoring line. Stankoven is playing with Stahl and Martinook, and then the fourth line right now is Jankowski, Robinson, and Jost. But what happens when William Carrier comes back? We have no idea what it's going to look like when Carrier comes back. Now, Carolina hasn't had too many instances over the last several years where they have had a glut of forwards. Really a glut of any player. They just haven't had that.
Maybe Finns.
Well, yes, Finns, but they were all in the lineup.
Right.
Like, I even believe that when Jesse Puljujärvi was here, he played, and he wasn't any good. So my anticipation is that, Carrier, when he comes back, will draw in. That will be the really, really difficult decision. But I think Jackson Blake has to stay in. Like, legit has to stay in. That is my guess. And he deserves to stay in. And maybe he is saving all of his goals for playoff hockey. I don't know.
I'd be down for that.
I don't know.
I like it. I hope so.
But he's been so good. And for those people who did watch the game against the Flyers on Saturday night, Pyotr Kochetkov was, I think, the best he's ever been. There were scoring chances galore in the first period against the Flyers, and the way he approached that entire period showed me
I mean, looked to me like he's ready, like to be the guy. Now he just has to keep that up heading into the playoffs. It starts tomorrow night, not the playoffs. Victoria, thank you. Bye.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and the tournament is about to